Hello.
Hello?
Hello?
It's Had.
It's Ed! You got all your mythic zeros done, buddy?
No, I've been really busy this week.
Oh, you want to do some tonight?
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Are you done with them?
Thank you.
Terrace hasn't done any. He needs some. I'd go to help.
I mean, if there's people, I'll join.
Okay.
Have you done any tears?
No.
My evoker needs some too.
I'm
If you're
probably
gonna do
going
some,
to go take a nap after the guild meeting though, because I've been up all night again.
Zeros will take like no time, dude. If you want to do it.
It's not that. It's just that unfortunately I also still have to work today, so
Okay.
I have not done that yet. Boy, what are you doing? Do you not know the meme? No.
Something
my
lizard.
God. Because I have to find the video of it. Hold on. I just got back, dog. I'm not up to date on new memes.
Were you up to date on old memes?
Nope. I just repost the same shit for the last 20 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. What do you
Did
expect?
you kill Kai Veza yet?
No.
You get a mythic vault if you do.
Sure that you do.
Do you have
I could also
TikTok?
clear I could also
Like, is
clear Tazavesh hard mode and get mythic items, but I'm not gonna do that either.
You can't do that this week.
Oh, well, that's sad. Not that I'll be able to do it next week either, but you know, it's
Not with that attitude.
Can we do it as healers?
It's easier as
Mhm.
healer.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
Huh?
because you can actually keep yourself alive.
You get the yeah.
Wait a minute, Maniac, have you done it?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I'll let him do it
It-
first, and then I'll.
It's fucking hard. I'll say that. It ain't easy.
It's fucking buggy, man. I fucking hate it, man. Those clones that like pierce you, I stared at them straight
Oh.
in the face, and they just fucking one shot me
It's
every time.
because if you aren't looking at them before they move, you die. You have
No,
to
I
actually be
was like,
fa-
I
yeah.
line it up every time, and like I back up, and it still just says, "Oh no, you get one shot." Unlike the
Oh yeah,
third guy.
if you're moving, it
And
kind of fucks you.
Oh, so just don't move and look at
Yeah,
them.
you kind of just gotta stay still.
Oh, okay.
Have you done it, Marcus?
I've been trying. It's fucking. This shit's hard. It takes people like over 100
notice how
rolls.
he canceled his "I've done it" to "I'm trying."
I did on the first level of difficulty.
Oh yeah.
The second one, oh, it makes you want to just Minecraft myself.
Minecraft yourself.
Craft himself into something strong so that he can kill it.
Or into a hole.
That's what he meant. Wow.
Got him.
Where did you see that killing that was giving a myth track item out of the vault?
It doesn't.
I was gonna say.
He's fucking with you.
He made it the
No, I was
fuck up.
fucking with terrorists.
He was about to have terrorists from today to raid time tomorrow, trying to kill it.
You can't lie
I
on
bet
the
I could
internet.
kill it.
I
have no-
don't
have
think
no
you. I
idea how
don't
hard
think you
it is,
could.
but
It's
I
hard.
bet I could. I bet it's not. I
There's
bet you
like
guys are just
there's
overhyping how
3
hard it is.
mechanics you have to do, and it just repeats itself for 8 minutes.
Now, can you leave for the 8 minutes? That's the fun
I've
part.
watched a lot of people do it, and they don't seem to have a problem surviving. It's just everything's a one shot,
Yeah, every mechanic's a one shot.
but it's the same 3 mechanics.
I've had trouble with just the boss hitting me because if you get below 10%, he just immediately kills you.
I mean, I've
nice.
I've
Oh, yeah, that
watched
was
a
mechanic
lot
I
of
bet I had in that.
things that I've never seen anybody die to just damage. It's all one shots.
You got to run
So-
healer brand.
Yeah,
I do, and he fucking throws his potions
Uh,
like way off in the fucking corner.
yeah, you gotta go to them. You just use personals on the suck, and then go to the pots, and the damage does not seem to kill people.
Anybody hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Give me that.
Trolls already killed the motherfucker 3 times on 3 different specs.
Just that easy.
He played Arms Warrior, and apparently it took him 3 pulls.
Yeah, I would. Melee feels easier because you can keep the boss centered. And get
Yeah,
what you
he
need to
did.
do.
He did Mage, and then Prot Warrior, and then Arms Warrior.
did he do Prot Warrior with the bug, or after
No.
the bug?
It was after. He didn't kill it on his Mage until after the bug fix, I think. He also spent like 8 hours one night doing that, though.
It's about how long it takes to frog it.
No thanks.
What do you get for defeating her?
Amount.
A
An
amount and a
achievement
title?
amount. Yeah.
Yeah. I got 700 mounts and 600 titles.
Yeah, you tell it. You tell it. I don't need your stinking mount.
You don't have that mount though, Mino. Or that
Yeah.
That
title.
is true. That is true. I am a little bit of a completist.
It's going to be funny when people get geared up how easy that fight becomes.
Farseer.
What?
Nothing. Mind my own business. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to say it out loud.
Hmm.
Why you had a void now?
Well, I thought I had it Hadywix, so I had to change
She's
it.
had avoiding you, Mock.
Yeah, I had to change it for the
Damn.
new raid, bruh. Eh?
Hmm.
Look ahead doing pet battles.
I just used one of my XP things.
Wow. Also, how are you just now
That's
getting
the
that
same.
achievement?
That's the same thing as doing pet battles.
Oh,
You
I
see
mean,
me
how
XP
is
things.
your how are you just not getting to level 10?
Kinda weird.
I mean, I mean,
You have 0 25s?
let me look.
I mean, you don't because you don't have the achievement. So
Sort by level. I have, I have one. I have one. Does that count?
Jesus. No, that doesn't count.
It's the only one you need. If it's Pikachu, it's the only one you need.
There is no Pikachu.
I take it
I
back.
bet there
I have
is.
1, 2, 3.
There's
I bet
not.
there's a rat that uses lightning. I bet there
7.
is.
I have
There's
9.
not. They're beasts.
I have 9.
That doesn't mean it can't use lightning, bud. It can learn lightning jutsu just like anybody else.
Oh,
I have too many.
Dude, I only interacted with pet battles because there was a bug in Shadowlands that allowed you to like instant level up from to 60 just from doing pet battles in your garrison.
I have 1,940 level 25 pets.
Damn.
Mm,
How many pets do you have?
2,200.
Okay, never mind. I have 750.
And I'm missing so many.
Oh god.
I had to do all the Dragonflight ones. I gotta do all the ones from this expansion still.
Pet whore.
How many pets do you have?
2,200.
Come on, man. Just fuck them up. How many you got?
Me, I got 1,090.
Oh, that's rookie numbers, bruh. No rookie.
Sure.
Says you had what the hell?
I can fuck with him. I can't fuck with you, dude. Alright?
How many damn slushies did you have today?
Why do you gotta go there? Why you gotta go there? Why can't it just
Damn sugar rush over here.
All right. Look, I'm excited for new content. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? You cannot blame it on a slushie.
Are you really that excited, Had?
Yeah, I'm excited. I gotta play a whole new build, dude. I gotta,
Is it really a whole new build?
Yes. Fucking Christ.
Did you confirm it with SG yet?
Mark Hunter changed completely this patch.
Nobody
whole new
asked,
world.
Terrace.
I know, but I said bud.
What the fuck? I mean, I heard Boomkin's gonna be at the bottom of the, it's gonna be
We're not the bottom no more. We got buffed. We got buffed. We're not the
I heard
bottom.
you got nerfed.
We're
Like,
We're middle of the pack.
I don't know about
We
that.
are middle of the
Middle
pack.
bottom, middle bottom.
I think
I
We're
would-
the
a
enhancement went
strong
to the
middle.
bottom.
We're the
Are you
we're the
trying to
definition
convince
of mid.
Are you trying to convince yourself? Because
No,
I was
we-
watching Max's stream and he said
That's old info.
Oh, okay, whatever, dude.
The buff was not yesterday. It was Friday.
Are you gonna have to, turn into bear form and pop some stuff?
To do what?
That's what they were saying.
Saying for what?
Something about like your health.
Oh yeah, we take 10 million damage, but
Totemic
there
got
was-
a buff, but no one plays it.
we're you gotta heal. Is what I'm saying. Is you just gotta heal. Doesn't your mastery do more healing the less health somebody has anyway?
Fuck, I know, dude.
What do you mean? It's your character.
I know, but who fucking knows nowadays?
You should.
My stuff's bugged. Okay, let's not.
Oh,
talk
it's
about it right
bugged. Okay,
let's
is
not
that what
talk
we're
about it.
saying?
Let's not talk about it right now. Okay? Can we just look? Let's talk about how trashy you're gonna be instead of me. Okay? Thank you. Keep it all on you, Mock.
So you're saying I'm gonna just not give you innervate at all because your
Oh,
shit's
it's-
bugged, so I
It's
gotta
gonna
give to
fucking
somebody
happen.
else.
No, it's
I'm
gonna
gonna
fucking happen.
be innervating Maniac and Stout.
Negative.
Yeah, I think so.
Negative Ghost Rider.
I'm gonna delete that macro now.
Innervate from the bench is pretty impressive.
What the fuck, Terrace? You're supposed to be on my side.
Got him.
What the
I was
hell?
trying to tell you fun Hunter facts, and you were like, nobody cares.
Ooh.
That's Hunter.
Damn, that hurts, dude.
I can't believe you.
It's
You
I know,
okay?
I
So
know, but no one
fucked
cares
up.
about Hunter.
Do you want me to call 911 so they pick your ass above the floor?
Somebody call HR.
Sandy's not
There's
here.
no HR anymore.
Get fucked.
You can't say that about me, Terrace. Take it back.
Sorry, bud. I'm sorry. I take it back.
It's your button. You fell and can't get up. It's your button. It's your button.
Mock, you're the guild's current best boomkin.
Amen.
He's you're the only one.
Hey, I'll take it.
Hey, if he's the only one, he's still the best.
He's also the worst.
Oh,
Yeah, but we don't want that negative. That negative.
Positive vibes only,
That bad
Roshan,
juju.
please.
We don't want that bad juju. We want
Mhm.
positive. We want good vibes.
Good vibes only.
That's right. Right, Frosty?
No.
look at that.
We don't
look,
want good
Maniac.
vibes. Never mind.
This
we want
person's
bad vibes.
playing with Cell. Cell. Is that what that is? Yeah, that's Cell.
This person's playing with Cell. Perfect.
It's that the new add-on.
Mhm.
I don't think that's Cell. That looks like Grid.
You can make both of them look like this.
That looks fucking
Yeah.
ugly.
It's a tank. He doesn't give a fuck about this.
Then why does it have it so close to the center?
Because that's where you're supposed to put it, bud.
You're not.
So emergency lay on hands and
Dude, my,
Yeah,
my,
whatever
my
the hell
unit
you
frames
do.
could not be more farther away from my shit than anything else.
Paladin
I tried.
things. That's why it's Rusty. Paladin things.
paladin things.
Bro, playing Paladin was the worst idea anyone could ever had. Like, imagine having to do things in the middle of the raid besides doing DPS. Couldn't be me.
Yeah.
Well,
Didn't you play
he's a
Paladin?
tank, so he can do other
Hey.
Right.
Let's not remember those times. Those were very dark times. Because remember that was the tier I played Paladin, and we didn't even get CE. Okay.
Well,
True.
so that's why you don't play paladin, right?
Correct.
Yes.
I miss Felsi.
Bro.
That is actually true. There is a 1-to-1 100% success rate of Frosty playing Paladin and us not getting CE.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't see that again.
Yep.
Okay.
Mind you, that was my best tier ever.
Oh no.
True.
Was it?
Yeah. I was cranking that tier.
He was cranking that tier. He just wasn't doing any mechanics because he was melee brained, which is why we didn't kill anything. But
Yep.
you know, it's fine.
Can confirm. Fucking Tendril.
Yeah. If only Frosty had done Tendril mechanics.
It's all my fault.
His computer probably couldn't handle it.
Probably not.
I think anybody's computer handled that very well.
Oh no, my PC was so ass. The moment we pull Tendril, my PC will be gone to like 20 FPS or something.
There was just one.
Don't
CG
talk
that
about
was, like,
Tendril.
a second
My god.
like that.
Hey,
No,
hey Zab, how about you just don't
is
talk at
unplayable.
all?
Oh,
There's
shit.
no wait. Rob, don't you play another game?
Oof.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, I just heard Rob talk for the first time in like 6 months, and he's calling somebody out. Holy shit!
Darius, can you please defend me here?
Bro, the microphone
did,
just
but
makes it
Darius-
so
Darius
much
actually
fun.
Doesn't defend
This is
your
an enemy.
kind, unfortunately.
Why are there an op?
I was kind of an op, bro.
Maniac, I saw you queue up that mic for a second there. Give me some input.
I was making sure that I was muted because my dog is barking.
Dude, they,
I could take care of that for
The-
you.
The ghost form.
Maniac.
Alright, we'll give just another minute, and then we'll start through this. See
We're
if
already
anybody
late,
else is gonna hop in
Terrace.
here real quick. I know, bud. We're always late for this shit.
oh man.
I'll start passing out the oranges.
on time.
I need my craft dinner.
Some of us got things to do,
Yeah,
Terrace.
Naz hasn't passed out
My
dinner
goldfish
yet.
is drowning. I'll be right back.
Yo, Nas said he was gonna give us like the snacks after the pizza, Terrace. Where's the pizza?
What pizza?
Nas told me about a pizza that you were supposed to give us.
Oh yeah.
That's not just
I'll,
any
see, I'll
pizza,
send you a
it's
picture of a
pizza
snack
party.
if you want.
We've been waiting on that pizza party for a long time.
God damn it.
And crab rave.
That's why I'm just gonna start passing out the oranges. I already fucking
Where's
know.
Ross? Where is Ross? He did promise us base boosted crab rave
He's in
One
Dells.
day.
1,000 years ago.
One day.
One day? Okay.
When we kill Tendril, I'll play it.
Wow, okay.
Oh,
play
no,
Shadowlands
Dragonflight Classic. Dragonflight Classic.
it-
When we
it
kill
was-
I
Tindral.
can't
The
wait.
Shadowlands.
The redemption arc.
Yeah.
Shadowlands Classic.
Sure.
Round 2.
Imagine
Dude,
having
Doc, if we can go back and play Dragonflight Classic and fight Tindral again, I'll play Shadowlands Classic for it.
you wouldn't.
I wouldn't, you're right.
Just think about Torghast and Korthia.
I would go fight Tindral again.
I would
wouldn't
I'd play Shadowlands
again.
Classic.
I wouldn't do that.
Dude, you
It's
couldn't
always
pay
based
me to
on
play
the.
Shadowlands again.
It's based on the last patch, and that'd be sick.
Is it how classic work? Like,
Yeah.
is
Yeah, that is how classic works.
yeah,
Always
but
been the last patch.
but I
I
mean,
mean, they're not getting the Shadowlands in classic, so it doesn't matter.
you never know. They're getting really fucking close.
Yeah, but not really.
Do you think they'll stop before or after Legion?
I think they're done at Mist.
Mm.
I feel like no one thought they were gonna do Kata either.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they'd do Kata, but there's no way they do WAD.
Dude, I 100% forgot about fucking WAD.
Well, I mean, WAD could be done in like 4 months.
Yeah, at the rate that they release the classic patches, WAD would be like the typical patch length of a retail patch for the whole expansion.
There's no way they do WAD.
No, because WAD Go Again would be super sick because it'd be really short and just hit all the good points, and then it'd be over. And then you'd be on to
I
Legion.
think after Mist, they're gonna give everybody a boost and just say play retail.
Yeah, just transfer all your characters.
Well, they can't because of the names. Some of those names will be taken.
I mean, they'll just give out like change.
I think that was in the new thing. Also, you wouldn't have to change names because they would just merge the realms in. You just,
Also, what do you do with things like Scarab Lord and all that kind of shit?
Oh, true. Just get rid of it.
All right, we're gonna get started. We're gonna use tactics video this time around, because it just has every single one of the bosses in one long ass video. We may not sit through all of these, although each one of them is not super long. But I'm hopeful that everybody has more or less watched something of a lot of these at this point. But we'll do the same thing that we usually do. We'll watch through the video and then we'll talk about it for a couple minutes. I do want to try and talk about at least Mythic of Plexus Sentinel and whatever the second boss is called, Lumathar. But some of that will just end up being a wait and see thing for whoever gets to it first this week and streams it and lets everybody else see how they start doing it or everything. Anyway, since this is the first time we've tried doing this with me being overseas, you guys will have to tell me if the video is lagging too bad or at all. And if it does, then we'll just do the watch along thing from Discord, I suppose. Anyway. I will be quiet and let Tech talk. As soon as I make sure that it's actually streaming audio this time.
And giving you some tips and tricks to help you defeat them and get some of that juicy loot. As a note, this entire guide is going to be based off of PTR footage, and it is testing and the rate of the patch. As you will notice, if my full normal that gets posted, I have that bound. This basically, otherwise, let's get started here with boss number 1, Plexus Sentinel. So right off the bat, you will notice that everyone's going to get an extra action button here at the bottom of your screen. Make sure you have that bound. This basically uses your cloak, so you get some flavor right off the bat, and does like a blink ability, which you'll need later on in the fight when these like walls start coming at you. You basically need to use it to dodge those walls. So this is going to be a Lust on Pull boss, as you can see here. There's some classic passive damage for healers to heal. There's going to be some circles that might be heroic only for you to avoid. So some pretty normal stuff. The actual big mechanics right off the bat is going to be the manifest matrices. It puts out these circles on a bunch of random players, and then it's a dot as well. And after that dot expires, they drop a little like teleport rune on the ground, essentially a mine, where if anyone ever touches it, it stuns them and then randomly teleports them around the room. So you want to generally do what these people are doing over here, put it on one side of the platform. And if you want my general positioning recommendation, it's going to be to tank the boss towards this like upper left side, not a little bit central like what we're doing. And you can drop these all in like a, you know, I think there's going to be like maybe 8 across this initial phase. So just drop all 8 along this side near the boss, and that frees up this back corner over here to put the tank buster, which is called Obliteration Arcano Cannon. I think we're gonna like put it up here through this wall we're just testing out, but don't do that. Don't worry about doing that. I would just place in this back corner, and the reason why you want to be far away from the rest of your group is because it explodes for raid damage when it expires, and also drops a large puddle, as you see here. Boom. So you want to drop that in this corner, I would say, and you'd have the boss over here, and that would minimize the damage because that's a pretty far run back. You can stack these puddles as well, as a note, but I'm not going to go too heavy on the tank stuff, as I have a full tank video on its own that you can watch. Now, the other mechanic to be aware of is a heroic only mechanic. So if you are normal difficulty, that's it for the actual boss phases. For heroic difficulty, there's a group soak that I wanted to point out here. This Eradicating Salvo is a heroic ability. So what you want to do is you want to split your raid into 2. There's this circle here, and basically it's going to shoot 2 times at this player, and it's split damage. So half your raid wants to get in this first one. You're going to see it pop off. Boom. It knocks everyone away. And then like a second and a half later, it does another hit on the same player. So the second set of your raid would then go into this soak, split that damage. Boom. There's no debuff attached to it. So if you have the ability to like immune knockbacks or get back into the second soak in time with like a leap or something, you can do that, assuming you are healthy enough. So something to keep in mind. But just a raid split in half is totally fine. When the boss reaches full energy, there's the intermission where he'll pull you, or push you rather, back to the entrance. Make sure you do fight this pushback, because it will, if you don't fight it at all, push you through this wall. So just a little bit of fighting. It's going to spawn a bunch of obstacles. You can use your cloak to phase through this, but like I said, in general, you want to use your cloak to phase through this wall. Boom. If you can manage to avoid some obstacles as well at the same time, great. You might be able to like phase twice, but you can see it's a pretty long cooldown. It's like a 20-second cooldown. So I would just save your cloak for the actual wall, blow up the absorb shield to end this phase, and now you are just 1 square ahead, and it's just a repeat. So as an example with a raid plan, if that helps, this is where you would want to do, right? You're towards the left side, drop these in the back right. The wall moves forward. The boss would be here. You'd put all these like here, and there would be more in the second phase, I believe. So you'd put it all like this. And the tank one wouldn't need to go all the way back, but, you know, it can go a little bit further back, depending on how mobile your tanks are. You can also stack these on the PTR at least if you want, but this is also totally fine. And that is boss number 1. Pretty straightforward. Not a lot going on there.
Just really quick, just while he has this up, just again, this is just the positioning that he was actually like talking about. If that wasn't super clear, as far as where we're gonna put things, I could be wrong about this. I think the only extra thing he does in Mythic is just send the wall like through the whole
Yes.
fight, right?
Yep.
Is that the only thing? Yeah.
That and the ads in the intermission.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Where's Kalamaz's video? Let me grab it really quick. Oh, if I can find it.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oh, these ads. Yeah.
Yep. And in Mythic, there's 2 of them.
Is there one in Heroic?
I
Or
thought
are
there
there
was
no ads
supposed
in
to be,
Heroic?
but he didn't show it, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't think
Yeah.
there's any in heroic. I think that's only mythic only.
I'll look in the dungeon journal and confirm, or if somebody wants to do that, feel free to go ahead and
On
just check on that.
Kalamaz's spreadsheet says ad spawns on heroic and higher, which needs to be killed.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, I would say even then the wall coming through on Mythic then is the only like real change. So it's just like it'll just be what it overlaps with. Whether you have to position the like soak circle in particular, like farther up through the room to not have the wall cross it at the same time that it explodes, kind of thing. Obviously we'll see when we actually like get into Mythic for this, but that would be the big thing of that. One thing Kalamazi mentioned in his videos that Tactics didn't really talk about that much is so in the intermission there is this like path through all this shit that you would want to take. I think if you're classes that can teleport like warlocks or monks, or what's the other one? There's a third one that he mentioned specifically that can use their like circle or transcendence to get across the wall as well. You maybe could do that. There's like some different cheese stuff that you can do with going across the wall and through some of these circles or the laser beams all at the same time, because the cloak does make you immune to all of it. Just be aware it doesn't last super long and does have the like, what was it, 16-second cooldown? I can't remember exactly, but it's quite long. It's long enough that you don't want to waste it on something that's not the wall unless you have another plan to get through the wall. Anyway,
I can tell you the order for Mythic right now. It's the 4 little soaks, the tank buster, then the wall comes through, and then it's the group soak. And then 4 more of the little circles, another tank buster, and then intermission.
okay. Yeah, they don't know if it doesn't overlap at all. I just wonder if it will start to overlap when you're like in different parts of the room, because I assume that the wall always comes from the like it always initiates like all the way in the back.
No, it's
And
the
move-
wall
does
right
it
in
not?
front of you. No, it's always.
Is it?
Yeah, it's always right in front of you.
Okay. Maybe it's just not then. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, unless there's a better strategy that comes out, we'll just do what Tactics was describing of putting all the circles like that we drop on the side close to the boss, and then put the tank busters in the back and everything. And then just we'll go with that.
Yeah, that'll be fine in normal and heroic. In Mythic, I could see problems with it, but
Yeah.
just because there's more shit in the intermission, so if you fuck up one side too much, you might not be able to get through. Or it'll take you an extreme amount of time because you have to wait to use your cloak, or most people have to wait to use your cloak to actually get through the wall.
Yeah.
So if you get caught on one side, and there will be spots where it is completely blocked and you cannot get through, you have to use your cloak through. If you're not waiting, then you're kind of screwed.
Well, at that point, you still just you just wait for the wall and then just go through all of it, right? You
Yeah,
basically,
but
unless you have something else
the
to do.
more time
I mean,
you're in
obviously you
that
don't want to spend
intermission,
the time, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you also need to be able to get to both ads.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's also like ramping, taking damage the whole time you're in the second or in the intermission as well, right?
Yep.
So you don't want to stay in there any longer than you have to anyway. But anyway, some of that we'll just figure out before we actually get in there. But we'll move on to Lumathar.
We can move on to the second boss, Lumathar. You can go to Lumathar or Soulbinder next, by the way, so you don't necessarily need to do Lumathar if the other boss is easier, but we're just going to cover this second because it's in the journal. So off the top here, boss is immobile in the middle of the room, and just like Plexus Sentinel, there's some passive raid damage and there's some circles to avoid. The main mechanic, though, are these webbings that spawn. It's called layer weaving. It spawns them. And basically, you have to kill one of these things to prevent this circle from closing in on you and give you a spot to run. On normal, they're just available to kill, so just kill the closest one to your raid. On heroic, you see this tank line is going out. You have to hit them with the tank line to make them attackable. So you see I line it up with one near the raid. Boom, and then it's... I don't face it again, but it can be attackable. You're going to see it come on the bottom of the screen here. and it's being attacked there. Now it's killed, and there's a way for the whole raid to escape. So that is mechanic number 1. Mechanic number 2 is you can see these tethers on a few players. Basically, what's going to happen is the boss will pull in a few players and tether them. And then to break that tether, you need to run 40 yards away. And when that happens, it snaps and then it spawns a puddle underneath you. On Heroic specifically, if you snap this on one of those puddles that you drop when you break this, then you will be stunned for 5 seconds, which means that you can't stack on other people when you snap it. And it also means that you can't snap it on existing puddles on Heroic specifically. So you will be slowly filling up some space. So pick a direction. We did counterclockwise. So as we filled in the area behind us with web puddles, we rotated counterclockwise and we took a step. So maybe I'll see it. You can see the puddles kind of forming and we're rotating. Actually, we're rotating clockwise here. It doesn't matter. Pick whatever direction you want. And we're rotating away from these web puddles as they are created, and that just gives us more space to actually play with and not be stunned on Heroic difficulty. Only other thing in this phase is the big over infusion burst AoE, which happens at 100 energy. Oh, there we go. So it's just a giant circle that comes out. Everyone just needs to run away from this circle when it goes out. And again, preferably you're not in an area with web puddles. We just managed to squeeze between a couple. And then there's a bunch of circles that need to dodge. And then we're back to the boss. And then we get to phase 2, which is at 50% health. And during this transition, it is also a damage amp. Here it comes. So boom, it triggers. Boss has a damage amp. This is probably when you'd want to lust to take advantage of that damage amp. It's only for like 10-ish seconds, it seems like 15-ish. And the boss is trying to figure out what's going on. A bunch of more circles in this phase. A puddle spawns underneath the boss in this phase as well. And these will continue to spawn over the course of this fight. Now, I do want to swap POVs here because we have a longer phase 2 in this clip, which makes it easier to see everything. The big thing for phase 2 is that the tank hit becomes a frontal attack that needs to be soaked. So this giant wave here. And then you need to have your raid split into 2. Half of them soak the first one, half of them soak the second one. You just alternate from there. How I recommend you do this is having a melee stack and a range stack. And if you look at our boss positioning, this is how I recommend you do it. Basically, you kind of have the boss kind of overlapping on existing puddles as those puddles spawn. And then you can have the melee stack here pointing this frontal towards the wall. Now, range can be in the direction you plan to rotate as the room fills. And you can see they're all behind me here. And this next frontal is going to be the range frontal. And then when this frontal goes out, I can just point it at the range. It's very easy for them to be in it no matter where they are. They can be spread out for these circles. In melee, it's very easy for them to avoid it as well and just alternate that way. Now, in terms of these puddle spawns, it spawns immediately after each frontal cast goes out, basically. The frontal cast happens. Boom. Then Arcane Outrage happens, and that's a pushback, and it's what spawns the puddle. So that's when you want to make sure you have the boss kind of overlapping on existing puddles if possible, just to conserve space. Then the puddles spawn underneath the boss, and you can move the boss a little bit here. Overlapping is totally fine for melee uptime, as the boss hitbox is relatively large. You can see we're not moving the boss a ton. We're kind of letting it chill in the puddles here. Arcane Outrage spawns more puddles. I could have actually been better with it. And you just keep rotating like that. Again, I have a bit of a raid plan image here. Just so you can see how it works. We spawned all our web puddles here. We're rotating away from the web puddles to conserve space because this is cutting off our space as well. Come up a little bit, drop a puddle overlap. And again, this could be better if you wanted. And this is how the spread looks. So melee is more like this way. The melee frontal goes towards the wall. The range frontal can be kind of spread like this. Range frontal goes out this way. Makes it a bit easier to handle, in my opinion, and it's just a race to kill the boss before you run out of space.
This bit is just like a classic ranged is leading the melee around kind of thing, or I guess that's one way of looking at it. But if this ends up being the way to do this boss, which it seems like it is, then it'll just be ranged leading through the room and just continually backing up just to make sure that melee has space to actually move into. Depending on how it is, I guess you could also reasonably just move the range with the boss as well, just keep everybody right up on it. But that might get a little bit hectic with the like circle spawns, and everything. But anyway, I know that the range don't want to move that much, but I guess you could also. How big is that frontal cone? Could you like actually just plant the range on the far side of the room and just point it at them? I wonder.
Potentially.
That might just be something we just have to see for ourselves. Anyway. Yeah. One thing about it, this
with and not be stunned.
so this frontal cone, I know that Zappy's not here, I think. No, he's not. Anyway, the frontal cone is also the tank swap. So there'll be, I don't think he is, maybe if the study doesn't keep pausing, but anyway, he basically, you blast like the one ad and then the other tank taunts off and sends the other one, at least on heroic. On mythic it's different, but on heroic and normal, I guess heroic actually, because normal doesn't matter either. Anyway, on heroic, the first tank blasts the ad and then the second tank just blasts it off, probably just away from everybody. We are probably gonna want to have that, at least a rough idea of where the second one is gonna go, just to make sure that nobody's in the way of it and everything. I mean, ideally, everybody probably should just be somewhat in the area of whichever ad we're blasting with the tank, with the first tank thing, just to be able to like move through it afterwards, right?
I would assume everybody's stacked on one side, and you can do same with the other direction.
Yeah, I think that's probably reasonable.
You're just going to want to go counterclockwise or clockwise, whichever way is away from the group, because of the mythic mechanic.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, the mythic thing on this dude is very similar to Aranog in the same exact kind of mechanic where you have I guess Aranog was one from the middle, one from the in, and one from the out?
Yeah.
I can't quite remember, but
I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Anyway,
I think that's right though.
This dude is just 2 from the out, so there'll be like 2 ads that are slightly staggered from each other. And you just have to blast both of them and shoot through them, so they'll be. So if there's like one ad right here, then the wall, the second wall will have its ad like slightly off to the side. So you would just blast the front ad first, and then blast the second ad, and then you would just kill both of them in order, and then you can escape the wall, kind of thing. On top of the nether soaks, but anyway. There's like portals in the room that just send beams towards the boss that it's basically just rotating through, having a couple people soak it each one, I think. I don't think he does anything else different on Mythic actually, but
No, it's just the second one there, and then the soaks.
Yeah.
And well, I guess in P2 there's circles around. I can't remember if it's on the pushback or on the frontal soak. Everybody gets little circles around them. I think it's on the pushback that
is that
deals
not
damage.
happening in these circles?
No. Like, see, they're like the size of those little ones that were there. Like, it's like the size of those, but everybody has them. I think it's while this
Oh.
is going on, so that way you can't be
Yeah.
stacked up on top of each other.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway. Yeah. Unless anybody else has anything for this dude, we'll move on to the next one.
Ace. Moving on to boss number 3. Soulbinder and Nazindri, and this is a boss fight that's basically there's a lot of ads, and the ads spawn in these waves that you can defeat some of them before they actually turn into real ads and spawn into the fight. And on normal, you are actually able to kill all of them before it happens, but on heroic, you kind of have to pick and choose which ones you fight. And actually, before getting into it, I also have a raid plan here with the ad spawns, like where the ads spawn and the type of ads that spawn in each spot. This would be the front of the room over here, by the way. Basically, how these ads work is the phase blades are CC immune, and they do the most unavoidable AoE damage. So we prioritize killing the phase blades before the ad spawn every single time, as many of those as you can. The assassins deal random target dot damage, and then the mages have an interrupt that deals AoE damage if you miss it. Both the mages and the assassins can be CC'd though, so you can kind of use grips, you can group them up, you can use AoE stuns, that kind of thing to lock them down. The phase blades cannot, and they just do a bunch of AoE damage as well, so that's why we prioritize killing them. But basically, as the sets goes on, there's more and more phase blades, so you have to fight more and more of them, even if you are always clearing phase blades. So that's kind of how it gets harder later on in the fight. In terms of how you actually remove ads from the fight, once they spawn, there's these like, this smoky stuff, boom, they'll pop up in these canisters. And if you hit these canisters with the Soul Fray Annihilation ability, it will destroy them. And that is this line attack here. It targets 2 random players, and these notably stop on the first thing hit. So if there's another player in this path, it will hit them and it will not break a container. So it is important that you kind of put these in a way that they will hit the ad canisters. Everyone else gets out of the way. Then you can cleave these ads. They're not actually active. You can see 90 seconds left. And now we can move and get ready to hit another set of canisters. Other abilities, these star formation dots goes out on random players, and then they shoot out in that direction, these slow moving orbs. So move away from the group if you're debuffed, and everyone watch. Other big mechanic is this Arcane Expulsion here. You can use this to kind of move towards the next ad you want to break because it's a big knockback. Don't get pushed off the edge. This is just the Abyss over here, so that will be bad. Boom, knockback, as well as a dot. It's a 12-second dot there. So this is like the raid damage of the fight, so make sure you have healing prepared for that. And then we're just kind of moving between the phase blade mobs as we can. Kill them again with the next line attacks, and you get 3 of these per phase before the ads actually spawn. So you can move forward here. We're going to kill 1 more, and then after this, we're going to move towards the middle to kill all the remaining ads because they will be spawned. Boom, bunch of mages for interrupts, a bunch of assassins dealing damage, and I think this first one has no phase blades, but the later on ones will have phase blades. And from here, the fight just repeats, and like I said, it's just based on the ad positioning. On normal, I believe there was only 6 ads on the PTR, so you only had 6 frontals. You could kill all 6 ads. On heroic, all of the ads were active, and this is what the sets were. And again, we prioritized phase blade. So in the first one, we did here to here to here. On the second one, you can start in the bottom here, kill these 2. You can move back to mid. You can kill 2 in the mid, and then you can move down here, kill 2 here, and that leaves you with 2 phase blades you have to fight. And then similarly here, you'd likely want to start out here, kill 2, move here, kill 2, move here, kill 2, and you still have a phase blade. So you are still going to be fighting phase blades later on in the fight. You can only just avoid them on that initial wave. And again, these might change based on PTR to live, so be wary. The priority is just killing phase blades. Moving on to Forge.
I can tell you right now, the phase blades do not do that much damage. A healing cooldown gets you through them. That movement is completely unnecessary and not worth it.
I think that depends on tuning, right?
They would need to buff them significantly. And on top of that, in Mythic, with the puddles being dropped, you would not be able to do what they just did moving around the room. I can show you exactly how every other guild that I watched did this, and it is significantly simpler.
Yeah, link one.
I'll just here. Just look at this. Or I'll put this in the channel. Look in the Soulbinder channel. The colors, the white ones, you're going to pick one or the other, depending on which way you're coming with the boss to the middle. If with the boss starting on that right side, you're going to pull him to one of the two sets of blue canisters. You'll pop those. You're going to use the knockback to go across the room to either the bottom or the top, the opposite of whichever one you picked. And then you will go to the middle, so that way you are already at the middle when the ads come out.
Yeah.
And then
I think you'd always want to end up in the middle, right? When
Yeah.
the ads all spawn.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not what he was doing, because they had to go middle, I'm pretty sure, to get to the second set in time without like using a lot of shit. But yeah, with this fight is stupid easy, actually. And the damage was, unless they do some significant damage tuning on the face blades, it was not worth worrying about. If you just do this pattern, you will always you will kill the same number that are left up. This entire fight is basically just get through the intermission and you're fine. And you just use healing cooldowns during it. Use your DPS cooldowns. Blow up everybody. There's also some cheese that you can do in Mythic on this fight as well for puddle drop placements, unless they change how the puddles were doing damage, because they were not doing enough to warrant not stacking them. So you can do things like Gateway after you get hit, and everybody just drops their puddle where they land on the second gateway, so you can gate across the room. And
What, like
there's
the it's kind of like the Sarkareth thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also in the middle of the room on the top and bottom, there's like that wall there. You can actually get knocked back into that wall. And as long as you're like pushed up against it, you won't get knocked over it. And it will just drop all the puddles as you move around.
That's to be clear, that's this that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's just that, like, the part that actually
Just
looks
this part?
tall in the middle there. Yeah, it's just that part. But I don't think that's going to be necessary, but that is some cheese that can be done if they didn't fix it.
Yeah. The other one or two things about these, the orbs that come out on these lines that break the canisters, do get intercepted by the first thing that they hit. I don't remember if Tactics mentioned this or not, but they do get intercepted by the first thing that they hit. So, you can block these accidentally if you stand in a real shit position and then cause more ads to have to spawn because you would not break the canister, right? So, this is a like out of the way thing. I think also that these canisters are not solid, unless I am mistaken. I believe
Yeah,
that
they're not.
you can walk directly through them, right? So, yeah. Since there's only two of them, I doubt that this will be like a hard assign type thing. But I guess that depends on the timing of how long exactly you end up having on Mythic to do this. But
No, you
Action
won't need to worry
ability,
about it.
it will destroy
Yeah.
them, and that is this line attack here. Targets 2 random players, and
anyway, but yeah, just really like making sure that everybody's out of the way of this, and then there's again, because you can move through the canisters, you don't have to like walk around and try to do some crazy shit. But
One thing about the small star spread, anybody that gets hit by those small orbs takes a haste reduction, like a massive haste reduction.
Choose which one.
So if you get that ability, make sure you get, well, I won't say get the fuck out, because you actually have to use it on Mythic, but make sure you do not get hit by any of those balls.
these ones, to be clear.
They move faster, I believe, on Mythic. Not
Yeah.
terribly faster, but they do move faster. And those will need to be used to actually allow you to break the canisters on Mythic. So they are actually an important part of the Mythic version of this fight. It will be nice to have that if he linked the
Yeah,
raid
he
line
did
for
link
it.
the he
Yeah,
linked the sets.
if we can have that just
Oh,
to be
you
able to
get-
look at it. No.
All right. Where's the next boss?
Weaver Araz. So this fight, it revolves around these collectors that are spread around the room here. The boss will interact with them throughout the fight. On heroic, there are 3, as you can see. On normal, this one at the entrance here doesn't exist, so you only have to deal with 2. So there's less mechanics overall going on, and it's a lower DPS check in the intermission, as we will discuss in a second. So when the boss activates these collectors, he'll do this, invoke collector. He'll channel into one of the 3. It'll spawn a bunch of stuff for you to avoid. It'll do some ticking damage to the group. It'll debuff a bunch of players with this dot, as you can see, and this will spawn an ad after it explodes. Now, this wasn't actually cleaving, even though it looks like it would cleave. So that is something that may change, but we could just stack these up under the boss. Boom, spawn some ads. These ads do a bunch of damage if they reach the collector that spawned them. So you want to just CC them and cleave them down under the boss. So that is the priority. Outside of the collector stuff, there's this soak circle over here that you were seeing being run away. This needs to be soaked to reduce the amount of raid damage it does when it explodes. It does not need to be a ton of players. Like, you can do like 2 to 4 players in this soak, and it's totally fine. It's more than enough. Though notably on heroic difficulty, this does put a debuff on soakers, so you need different groups of soakers for each of these. They can alternate again. They can go into every other. Now, after this soak goes off, it's going to spawn an ad. This is an echo. And basically what this does is it just copies the boss's abilities whenever he does them. So when he channels into a collector, this echo is also going to channel into collector, which means that if it's alive when that happens, and this one got absolutely owned, it'll spawn more circles, it'll spawn more ads, it'll do more raid damage. So it is beneficial to kill that ASAP. The reason we spawned it so far away is that on heroic, there is a buff if the echo is within 20 yards of the boss. They both get buffed. They do more damage. They take less damage. That's bad. On normal, that doesn't exist. So you can just drop this right next to the boss on normal, cleave him down real quick, really easy. You can kill that boss ASAP. On heroic, there's 2 strats. There's either doing this where you spawn it further away, and honestly, positioning wise, I think you should have the boss centered, by the way, and you should put the echo over here if you were doing that strategy. So you can do that. They never even proc the buff for a second. The other strategy some people were using to maximize damage on the echo is they were spawning the echo right next to the boss, and then they were moving the boss 20 yards away. This is nice because it lets you get way more damage on the echo immediately because all the melee, all the range are there hitting stuff already. They can splash their damage. And the boss's buff and the ad buff is slightly delayed. It did not tick instantly. So it's another thing that to be aware of. If they change that, this could make that strategy worse. And because of that, you could just drag the boss away. And even if they had the buff for 1 second when you're not done dragging the boss away yet, it wasn't a big deal. And it would fall off once the boss has moved out of range. And again, that's just to prioritize killing the echo ASAP. I don't think it's going to be required, and it is higher coordination. So if you prefer, just drop the echo 20 yards away. Like, you can drop the echo like here-ish, and you can have the boss be here. And then you can just have everyone swap to the echo when it spawns, and then swap back to the boss once the echo is dead. Either way, the echo is the priority here. Kill that first to reduce the number of mechanics. From there, we can talk about the intermission, which is when the boss reaches full energy. And the echo. Here's the echo copying the abilities, by the way. So we have twice the amount of things to dodge, more ads coming out, etc. When the boss actually reaches full energy, though, you get the intermission. So all the collectors become active. So that's 3 on heroic and 2 on normal. And then one at a time, they start gaining energy. And it's indicated by this like energy circle here. That's the one that is gaining energy first. So you can see the on the frames I have as well. Only one of them is gaining energy. So find the one that is gaining energy and you want to kill that first, because when these get to full energy, they channel a beam to the middle of the room that basically deals lethal raid damage if it reaches the middle. So you want to kill them ideally before that happens. So prioritize always going to the one with this circle of energy. That's the one gaining initially. And then the next one's going to start gaining energy eventually. Looking at the frames at the side of my screen here. Boom, that one gets to 48. Next one starts gaining. So we'd want to go to that one when it gains. So it would be the one over here, not the one I'm at right now. And the other thing you'll notice is these shielded attendants begin to spawn throughout the room. 2 of them. Tanks need to pick up 1 each. They have a stacking tank debuff that's pretty nasty, so keep that in mind. And the actual goal of these ads is they're not the priority target, but they're interact with a mechanic you actually have to play on Mythic. But on Heroic, if you are slow with killing these collectors and they hit 100 energy and they channel the beam to the center of the room, if the attendant is between the collector and the middle of the room when the beam hits, it actually hits the attendant instead, and it stops the raid damage from happening. So you can do that if you are slow. Otherwise, prioritize the collectors. The attendants are secondary. You kill all 3 collectors, the boss reappears, and there's a damage amp on the boss for like 10 or 15 seconds. So you can do that. There it is. Yeah, 10-second damage amp on the boss. Get to own the boss a bit, cleave these attendants, and then tanks are dealing with the swap between these attendants as needed. And then phase 1 repeats again. The intermission repeats again, unchanged. And then you get an auto phase into phase 2 when the boss is, I think it's like 25 or 15% depending on the difficulty. It starts with this Dark Terminus ability. In this case, it's just happening because we pushed the boss, but this would otherwise happen after the second intermission. It's going to launch us, so you want to get launched to the front of the room here where you come in, because where the boss was gets filled with void energy. And so here you're just getting constantly pulled into that void at the front. The closer you are, the harder the pull in, so be careful. And that's why we're over here, and you're basically trying to burn the boss before you die. So I recommend lusting that second damage amp if you get it. But again, there is an auto health phase as well. So if you're not going to get that second damage amp, then you should probably just lust when you move into this phase, as it's it's basically a race. There's some ads that spawn in this phase as well, so same deal. Group it up under the boss, use CCs on them, use grips, use slows, cleave them. They're trying to get to the front of the room, to the void area, and they blow up if they do that, so don't let them do that. Just kill them under the boss. And it's just a burn phase, essentially. Nothing other than this is happening. You're just owning the boss. So a little bit of race against time. Cool boss fight, though. Definitely in.
Is this why they took away A-bomb limb?
No, this is why they say that grip is a raid buff now.
It's a raid buff? Yeah, okay.
Same, but different.
I think that this, at least on Heroic, is just like the intermission thing of whether you have to use the ads to block the beams or everything is just going to be a tuning thing. It's just going to depend on how much health these actually have. Whether you can actually kill them or not before they get there.
Mock, here's your boomy fight of the tier, by the way.
True. Were these 3 lightning bolts that went out targeted or just random in the?
I think they were random because all 3 people die and I don't see them move, but I could be wrong. I didn't think there was a stack to reduce damage mechanic in this fight, but I'm not sure.
Well, these 2 melee just stood in the cleave of the 3, and then this priest just got hit by one of them. But
yeah, I think it's just a get out angle.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I don't have a super lot more than that to say about this one. I do think it's just gonna depend on. That looks kind of annoying if one can shoot at you from the front and the other one can shoot at you from the back at the same time, like so. But whatever. Some more things to watch out for, I guess.
I'm wondering if they are targeted on people, but just for the initial spot. So you would want to have like your ranged and shit be off to the side or in towards
Yeah,
the middle to
maybe.
try and gain the system a little bit.
That could definitely be a thing. I guess we'll see. The other thing too is we'll see if like how necessary it is. It's probably not in heroic, but how necessary it is to have big CC chain assignments for these. It's probably just going to be like a call it thing, but I'm sure.
Yeah, I think
some
no
order,
more than
but anyway.
no more than probably like one per set if you can get away with it, because they looked like they spawned in sets of 2.
Was it 2 or was it 3?
There was the first set came out, they killed them, and then like right after they finished off that
Oh,
set, it
you
looked like
mean-
another set came
yeah,
out.
yeah. See. Oh, he's phasing right there.
Yeah. I think that's only in the intermission where they like double up. Or not the intermission,
Yeah.
P2. P2, sorry.
Well, I thought it was when that when the other ad also channeled into the thing at the same time, right? Because if the boss
It
spawns one
can.
set, the ad channels, then it spawned 2
Yeah.
sets.
It would do that as well, but it looked like it also did it in the second phase.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. I just can't find it. This bit, right? Where they
Yeah,
die
because
and
like there's the
then
first set and the
instantly
second
spawn
set's coming
again.
back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's running away. I guess this would also be something where if if it does start to get away with us or away from us, you would want to like potentially drag the boss with it slowly, just and then take him back just to keep like the cleave damage up. But hopefully, you won't have to worry about that super a lot. Anyway, we will move on.
Cool boss fight though. Definitely enjoyed it. That brings us to the Demon Hunter boss. This is your classic council boss. 2 of these guys are tanked in Valerian and Alyssa. The other guy here just hits people and randomly jumps around the room. The main important mechanic is this Devourer's Ire.
Surely we don't need to watch the
when this
optional
goes
boss.
off, he's going to shoot out these orbs that someone in your raid needs to intercept. And that's going to give them a magic debuff. So you're going to shoot them out. Boom, there's soaks. People needed to soak this, otherwise it's a hit of raid damage. And you can see, boom, 2 people have this debuff. What this debuff is, 100% physical damage taken increase, so your tanks can't have it, first off. And then when it is dispelled, it will jump to a nearby, I think preferably ranged, non-debuffed player. So these are just going to remain for the rest of the encounter. Now, the players that have this debuff are going to be in a bit of danger because the untanked guys just spamming consume specifically at debuffed players only is what this is getting hit into. This is just some damage and a healing absorb. On heroic, this also is a stacking 1-minute damage amp to consume, which forces you to trade off these debuffs between 2 or 3 players potentially, depending on how long you actually want them to hold the debuff for. On normal, though, you can just assign 2 or 3 people, however many debuffs there are, and they can just have them the entire duration of the boss fight because there's no stacking damage amp going out on them. Now, why this is important is because the people with this debuff are required to soak puddles to clear them. So here you go. Occasionally, the Adaris jumps around. He spawns a bunch of puddles, and you can see the debuff people. They need to stand on these puddles to make them disappear. If they don't fully soak them, they start to grow again. So you really, really need to make sure that these people, specifically on the melee stack, wherever Adaris jumps to, is these debuff people are there and they are soaking those puddles away so that there's room on the encounter space. Again, very, very important to clear them all when you possibly can. In terms of other mechanics, the big one is Hunt. Here it is. Boom. It's going to, I'm going to rewind a little bit actually. It's going to target a random player. Valarin jumps away. She tries to hunt at a random person. There's this line attack. You can soak in this line to reduce the damage done. On heroic, you have these circles as well that makes you splash, so you can't throw your entire raid in here. But on normal, you can just kind of stack up in here and mitigate that damage. Either way, though, the person actually being hunted should probably pop a defensive because it is quite scary. And then you just want to get in here to reduce the damage as much as you can without splashing your friends on heroic. I do also want to briefly mention the tank mechanic here. One of them is just a frontal, so you're going to point that away. The other one, though, spawns souls. Here it is, Fracture. It's going to spawn 2 souls behind the tank, so you can do what I did there and face them towards your group. You have a 66% healing reduction while these souls are out here, so people in the raid need to touch one of these to remove that healing reduction from your tank. They get a 20-second dot in the process, so you don't want the same person to do both, but you need your raid to actually soak these to clear that healing reduction, so be ready to do that. From there, there's intermissions that happen whenever the bosses reach 100 energy. It's always in the same order, so the first one is always going to be Adaris. Just fast forward to that. Here it is, Metamorphosis. He jumps to the center, and there's just going to be these blue orbs that start falling towards the center of the room, and you need to soak these before they reach the boss, otherwise he does damage. And they just do a stacking dot on soakers. You can immune these as well, so just kind of play goalie here. Make sure you stop these from getting into the boss. That's the first intermission. Second intermission, fast forwarding, is going to be the Havoc Demon Hunter, I believe, Valarin. And yeah, it's basically just a bunch of blaze lines or like Kai'Veza lines on people. So if you do get it, try and dodge on your line path. Don't try and like move your line a bunch side to side. That's bad. Stay on your line path if you can, and just avoid getting cleaved by 2 lines at once. Defensives as needed. Then the third and final intermission is the Vengeance Demon Hunter. And this guy just leaps randomly and does a giant frontal attack. Boom, giant frontal across the circle. There are 3 safe areas, I guess 4. It's like to the left and the right of the frontal, to behind the boss. And then actually the far side of the frontal as well, if you were on the edge of the circle. This frontal, at least on PTR, didn't reach the whole length of the circle. So there's 4 potential safe areas for you to go to handle this. Finally, last intermission, if you do ever get to it, is just the Enrage. So, oh yeah, here they go. They're just doing all the abilities, all 3 of them at the same time. So you want to kill the boss before this happens. And then all the boss phases, by the way, between these intermissions are exactly the same. They're all as the first one we mentioned. So that is it for the Soul Hunters. Then we get
one thing I want to point out, that this is slightly different as far as blaze lines are concerned. In the second intermission here. This is the right one. So these don't, while they look the same as blaze lines do, they work slightly differently. Whereas blaze lines are the Kai'Veza, I guess the Kai'Veza lines are slightly more appropriate for these, will like mark on you, right? And then they like statically move with you whatever way you move, right? These are targeted from these like ghosty demon hunters on the ground that basically charge at you. So if we watch this, I'm gonna slow it down just a little bit, but if we watch this in slow motion, you can see that these people, as they move around, they actually change the way that this is facing slightly. And it's not just locked onto them and static. It like that one right there that moves a whole lot. These do work very slightly differently from normal blaze lines. Obviously still the same rules apply, just run like in the line, but just be aware that if you move not in your line, you are moving your beam a lot more than you potentially would be with a normal blaze line. It's not just like a wiggle it side to side, it does actually change its entire orientation. Which, again, may not end up being that big of a deal, but could also be a very big deal. I guess the other thing would be the hunt thing right here that he is talking about. Because you do get the green circles on this, kind of like what their person is doing right here, you would want to make this as long as possible, depending on how many people you actually have to have in it to soak, right? Just to make sure that everybody has enough room to actually spread out in and everything. Again, we've seen mechanics like this before, but just don't run up next to the demon hunter while this is on you. Run away from him and make it as long as possible. Especially if it is a lot of damage.
You can be, if you are outside of that circle, but on top of the person that it's hitting, it will also cleave onto you and probably kill you. So don't stand next to the person that is the target of that.
Does it do like a big hit at the end when it
Yeah.
hits the person? Essentially, yeah. Okay. That's even more reason for a person who gets it to not stand on top of the raid and everybody else. Well, he did a bad thing and moved a lot right there at the end. Don't do that. Anyway. I guess the only other thing would be that whoever has the debuff just is gonna have to be proactive about soaking it. I think that this mechanic, the soaking up the puddles, is really similar. I don't know how many people did the light in the Vault of the Wardens, where you would like hold the light and then go stand on the puddle and the puddle would go away. But I do remember that boss, there was a lot of people who would not let the puddle go away all the way before they started moving out of it. And then the puddle will just respawn, and that is very frustrating when that happens. So, please make sure if you are soaking a puddle that it is all the way gone before you move. You will have to I guess this is also similar. What was the boss in Aberrus that did this? Was it Magmarax that did this same mechanic as well?
Yeah,
Where you, like,
people had to
circle?
soak in the
Yeah.
lava.
You had to soak the lava, and then you'd like stand in the edge of it, and it would move past you as it got smaller, and then it would get big again. So if you wanted to soak it all, you had to like continually run all the way to the middle of it, and then make sure that it was all the way gone before you moved. Which again, like, you don't want to have these puddles on the ground going into the other intermissions and taking up space, right? So. I thought I remembered hearing at some point that soaking these circles would leave, or soaking these orbs would leave a like continually stacking debuff on you, and you'd have to like pause at some point.
It does. But you can also, like he bubbled, I think, to not get the stacks.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Yeah, this boss looks really cool, regardless of whether it's optional or not. So, very visual. Anyway, I guess it's kind of the same thing that Kite Veza was. It just looks cool, but anyway, we'll go on to Tetris.
Then we get to Fractalus, where I am not going to show you my POV because it's terrible. You can see my POV probably from Bancher's POV. Shout out Bancher's. It is in a corner against a wall the entire fight. Not ideal. Basically, this is a single target DPS check, one phase encounter. It's got this like Tetris style mechanic where the boss enrages if you put 6 walls in one of the 6 available sections. And currently, at least on the PTR, it's just solvable via a weak aura. So either like the Northern Sky pack or the Liquid weak aura pack, those will likely have a weak aura that just solve this boss if it's not changed. You can use that. But I still want to give you a general like visual idea and like the base strategy of this boss. Like most burn bosses, it's going to be a lust on pull. And essentially how this works is that twice per phase, 4 people are going to be assigned to build walls. And that is with these arrows here. These walls, when they shoot out, will put a dot on anyone they hit. So you're going to see them shoot out in the second here. Entropic Induction, boom. Little knockback on anyone hit as well. So you want to have the raid stacked in one section that is not getting hit by any walls. And then these people put them in different sections. On top of this, the Tank Buster and Shockwave Slam also puts a wall, which is where you see little... Oh, look, there's me. There's me, guys. Imagine what my POV looks like. So yeah, they drop a wall as well, which is why they're in a corner. They can use the walls to prevent the knockback as well, which is why, you know, they're off on their own. Here's the second set of walls happening. You can stack them here, like you're gonna see, I think potentially people stack them, and you will just get 2 stacks of the dot. Not ideal, but not the end of the world, especially at 2. Going much higher than 2 is probably a bit scary. Now, all the walls have been made in this phase now. What happens after that is that 5 random players and then 1 of the tanks randomly will get picked to crystallize, and that will cause them to break a wall in the section they are in. You can stack up with this one. This one does not put a wave through the section you're in. It doesn't stack up damage on people if you're also in the same section, so that is fine. But if there aren't enough walls to break in that section, then you will waste the break. You can still, like, for example, this section has 2 walls. There's 2 people here. That will break both walls. You don't necessarily know which person is going to get counted as breaking each wall, and that is important for in a second because the walls do different things. But you can break 2 walls in the same section, or even 3 walls in the same section if you stack up people here. Just don't put one of these crystallizes in a section with no walls, and don't overcommit crystallizes to a section with only a couple walls. Now, on normal, there are only these blue walls, and these walls just create circles on the ground that you need to avoid when they're broken. On heroic, you start getting these purple walls, and you will see they spawn in static position. So like the furthest one back is always a blue wall, the second wall is always purple, the third wall is always blue, etc. So it was working like that on PTR. So these purple walls, when they break, it puts a dot on the person that broke it, so the crystallized person, and they get a 10-yard AoE around them as well. So you need to wait away from the group, let that explode before going back to the actual platform or the main spot. So you're going to see the crystallized go out here, the backhand, boom. It's also a raid hit. Here are all the circles from breaking the normal walls. And then you can see these other circles go out as well on the breakers and other random people based on the number of purple walls that got broken. So we broke a lot of purple walls here, which is why so many people got debuffed, right? So it's not just the person breaking the wall, it's also other random people. And then there's circles as well. And I made a little raid plan. I'm not sure how useful it was. This also copies the markers we had in the video. I think the Liquid or Northern Sky Weaker will have set markers just so people know where to go. But basically what our general strategy was, tanks just sat in circle the whole time. The raid generally stood in star until we needed to move to a full pathway. But initially we were on star, and we were just dropping all of our walls in triangle, X, moon, and skull. All 4 walls were there, spreading them out so we weren't stacking the dot if possible. And then all of our breaks would also go there, and the tank break initially would also go not in the tank area, because the tank area only gets 1 wall per phase, whereas all of these other areas that aren't star where the raid is getting 2 walls per phase. And then eventually, if the boss lasts long enough, you would need to move the raid. So like if X is getting to like 4 or 5 walls, you could then move the raid to be on the X marker. I guess I can put a marker here. Right, you can move the raid to be on the X marker instead, and then you could start filling up star more. And similarly, you could start moving the tanks over to skull to fill up skull less, and you could fill up orange more as well, depending on what is needed. But again, a weak aura is definitely going to solve this boss, at least in its current state. And check out the Liquid pack and Northern Sky pack if you want to see that weak aura. That brings us to the final.
I don't know how much it's actually worth even like talking about this boss because of the weak aura thing, but
I wouldn't worry about the walls, but talking about the order of things is probably gives everybody an idea. So this fight works on a 50-second rotation of abilities. At 15 seconds, you get the first set of walls. At 35, you get the second. At 50, you get the break. And then it just continues to do that. Basically, for the most of this fight, everybody is just going to stand still and beat the shit out of the boss. The only thing that I would consider is when we get to the break. So obviously you don't want to have people standing in a lane that is going to get a wall in it. On the break, only the people that get targeted, I believe, get bitch slapped and take any damage. So everybody else at that point can spread out, because you know you're going to have to spread out anyway. So basically, we all stand still for 45 seconds, and then everybody spreads out at that point. the walls break, you dodge, you spread out, and then you get back to wherever the safe zone is called at, and you just do it again. I didn't calculate out the time for what the enrage would be based on walls here in heroic. In mythic, this will be no more than a 4-minute and 45-second fight.
Yeah, so
I guess
it'd
go back
be-
to where it's showing the arrows.
Which
So
these ones?
Yeah, so pause it. Go back like 2 seconds. See the arrows up next to the boss? They're all kind of stacked, like that group of 3. Just to the left of.
Oh,
there you
those
go.
arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I see them.
those arrows are where everybody that is marked is going to send a wall. Your arrow, if you are targeted, will be red.
This is the part you were talking about, like spreading out before the right.
Yeah. So like at
Because
that
everybody
point,
gets bitch smacked.
yeah, as soon as everybody got their marks of who was breaking, everybody else could have spread out already. So that way you weren't trying to dodge all the other, because the actual like personal circles there are so fucking faint on that floor. It's really hard to see.
Yeah. And then if you're also spread out, you don't have to try and escape the like. You don't have to try and escape both at the same time, right? Just escape one and then the other. I guess they give you like a pretty generous amount of time anyway, but they are, like you said, super faint.
Yeah, this entire fight is just going to be a DPS race. That's it.
Yeah. I wonder if they're gonna like change this graphic, because that seems very different than what they've been going with recently of like having
Yeah.
things be visual.
I just don't know what they would do, because I think they did it so that way it doesn't clutter up the small circles.
Yeah.
You just change
Yeah,
the color
that's
to
true.
red to make it easier to see, and
Yeah, but
But
then
that's
you
not
run in.
thematic with the boss.
Yeah.
Blizzard can't have things that aren't thematic with the boss.
I
Anyway,
don't know, add more particles to it, make it shiny. I don't know.
true.
Yeah,
Like,
mechanically, this is
something
a
that we can
terribly
see
easy fight.
better.
Yeah, especially with it just being weak core of solving, it'll just be easy. Hit it forehead. Anyway, maybe it'll have an interesting DPS check at least. But
I hope so
anyway.
in Mythic, because it would be disappointing if it's not like Sludge Fist kind of DPS
It'd be
check
kinda-
at that point in the raid.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool if you like at the end of the fight you've like built it almost all the way up, like right on top of him, just like what Tetris actually is like if you're bad at it, right? Anyway. Now we can watch the fun one.
That brings us to the final and most complicated boss here, and this is also one that may potentially change, so I might have to put a standalone guide to this guy. But this is Nexus King Salhadar, the second to last boss. And right off the bat, on Heroic, on this boss fight in Phase 1, if you ever die, you get mind controlled. So that is a thing to keep in mind. Otherwise, shortly after pulling the boss, he does this Decree Oathbound AoE damage channel. So beware of that AoE damage immediately. And this puts 3 stacks up of the Oathbound debuff on the entire raid. And basically, you need to clear the stacks by the end of the phase. Otherwise, you take a bunch of damage and likely die. And in order
Welcome
to clear
back,
the stacks,
Sir
you
Donnie.
need to be a part of a Conquer Soak. So this is part of the tank combo that happens. The tank combo is one of 2 abilities, and it happens 4 total hits in the combo. Each ability casts twice. One is that Conquer Group Soak, and one is a Vanquish Frontal that will murder any non-tank inside of it. So you kind of alternate between dropping the Soak on the group and moving their Frontal away. This combo is a bit more complicated than that. I talk about it in the tank tips video if you want to watch that. Not going to go into it in this video. Basically, when you clear a stack with this Conquer hit as well, it will do a hit of group damage. Here it is. And so that's a good spot to stack things like AMZs, like Spirit Links, like Disc Barriers, that kind of thing. And in general, my recommended strategy, at least the strat we're going to be going with early on, week 1, week 2 of the patch on heroic difficulty, is we're going to have the entire group stack in one Conquer per set of the tank combos, because you get 3 total in this phase, and that will clear everyone's stacks. And then we'll have the tank solo the other Conquer. Now, this was doable on the PTR with pretty much every tank spec with just stacking of defensives. Again, talk about that in the tank tips video, but that basically minimizes group damage and makes it a little bit easier, as well as there's going to be like orbs flying out at the same time. You need to dodge, etc. It's quite difficult. And so only having one soak where you can stack defensives is much easier in our opinion. That being said, if you are not comfortable doing that in your group, it's a little bit coordination intensive for the tank, etc. You can instead split your raid in half. One of them will be in the tank group soak for one tank. One of them will be in the tank group soak for the other tank. They can just stack like on the left and the right, and then the tanks can go, for example, I would always go to the right stack, the other tank would always go to the left stack, and then you would sort it that way. It's a little bit more damage, but especially later on in the patch, that's totally fine to do in my opinion. Whatever is easier for your group. So here's what the Vanquish looks like. Notice the positioning here. We pull the boss slightly off center. We point Vanquish away from the group. The raid is stacked on the outside here. All the soaks go there. Notably, you cannot be on the actual outside of the platform because these phase dragons just murder anyone nearby. And then the other thing, like I mentioned, they will be shooting orbs in this phase. It was bugged on the PTR during heroic testing, and they were like barely shooting their orbs. So there is probably going to be stuff to dodge in this phase as well. Now, immediately following the tank combo, Banishment will go out. It will debuff a few players. That is followed by Behead, which debuffs a few players, which I believe cannot target Banishment players. So keep that in mind. These deal damage in a line and also drop a puddle. So our strategy was to just drop this behind us. It happens initially. We stay here. A second wave of Beheads happens. This is the last wave of Beheads. They also drop it on not existing puddles. And everyone else who did not get debuffed rotates a third of the room, because like I said, there's 3 sets of tank debuffs in this phase. We rotate a third of the room. We filled up a third of the room with these puddles, and now we do the exact same thing on this part of the platform. So again, the raid stacked here. The tank combo is going to happen. Again, there's some more dots going out. There's some more balls getting shot out here, or there's supposed to be. Tank combo happens, raid stacked up. There's one singular ball. Woo, there we go. There's supposed to be more of them, but that's what they look like. Again, we're group soaking. One tank is either soloing a Conquer here, or you've split the raid into 2 groups, either or. And then we're doing the double beheads, and then we're rotating the last third of the room. From here, the boss phases. In phase 2, you now have a dragon. The outside of the room is safe again, because the dragon has coalesced into an actual dragon. And you're tanking the dragon in this phase, so make sure it gets picked up. You have these giant circles going out. The size increases based on difficulty. It's smaller on normal. I recommend putting these out towards the edge of the platform, because they do also spawn these void portals on a hit. At least they did on PTR. So on normal and heroic PTR testing, these spawn the portals. On mythic PTR testing, the portals spawned in static positions. I don't know if that's a mythic only mechanic, or if they changed it so that all difficulties function that way. So keep that in mind. The portals may randomly just spawn in the middle of the room and not be tied to that debuff, but they may still be tied to that debuff, in which case you want to point them to the end, or edge of the room rather. And the reason for that is because they are tied to the tank beam in this phase. So Dimension Breath is going to go out here, and you're going to see all the portals that spawn from those circles also have a line attack coming out of them. And so this beam attack is a frontal line. It's going to shoot out, and it's going to shoot the beam from every portal as well, which rotates slightly. So you need to make sure your raid is avoiding that. On heroic difficulty as well, you're going to see in a second here, the tank is going to blow up for raid damage based on the amount of damage they took from that breath. And so, boom, lots of damage. You need to make sure you apply heavy mitigation to that. Things like AMS are really good if you're able to absorb the whole thing. Things like Bubble really good. Again, not going to talk about it too much, but that is a heroic specific mechanic. And then this phase is interrupted by an intermission where you have to go to 2 different side portals. So this is one of them. It's the exact same on the other side. The exact same mobs besides the mini boss has a different name, but they do the exact same thing. So split your raid directly in half here. in terms of tanks and healers. And the goal is to just kill this Manaforged Titan before he reaches 100 energy and self-destructs. There's a kick on the mini boss you need to do. There's circles to avoid. There is Reapers do some damage, but you can CC them as well and stop them. There's some beams that rotate around as well, which you need to avoid. But basically, it's just kill the Titan before he blows up, and then you want to go back when the other group goes back as well. You're using your cloak here, by the way. You get an extra action button that pops up. Use that. Boom, and then you are repeating phase 2 again here. So same thing as the first phase 2 we had, and then eventually this is going to get interrupted by another intermission. This is a 30-second damage amp on the dragon here, while the boss is like a 99% DR'd. And basically, at the end of this cast, he will destroy the dragon and heal himself based on the dragon's health. So you probably want to be lusting here because of the damage amp and murder this dragon as much as possible, because that is also going to make your phase 3 shorter, and that phase is crazy. So moving to that real quick, here it is. So basically, there's 2 big mechanics in this phase. The first is Galactic Smash. It comes out instantly. This targets 5 players and the active tank, and when it explodes, it's going to deal damage to everyone based on distance. So you want to be far away from them. So it's good to start in the middle here, in my opinion. It's going to spawn a void circle underneath all of them, which pulls in players based on positioning. So it's very similar to Nexus Princess Kaiveza. Basically the exact same mechanic, which is why they need to be spread out. If you put all these in one area, everyone is going to get sucked into them and immediately die. So you need to spread them out to distribute the pull-in effect. And then shortly after that, they will turn into stars. The pull-in ends, and these stars do a few interesting things. So first off, they constantly pulse for group damage, so that's some damage in this phase. Second, they continue to have that void zone underneath them, so if you actually touch them, you will just die to that void zone. And third, they have these rings which will pulse out, and you need to avoid as they continue to pulse out these spikes. I do not recommend standing in the middle here. As you see, they're all going to converge. When this happens, I actually recommend running towards one of the stars slightly to make it easier to dodge. Like if you just had run this way, there's much less rings to dodge. You'd run here, you dodge here, and then you can move back towards the center after all the rings have gone out. I think that would be easier than having this hellhole not too far towards one side, but just a little bit, because otherwise it's absolutely awful to dodge, as you can see. And then that leads us to the next actual mechanic, which is Starkiller Swing. Actually, notably, you're seeing these stars rotate around the room. That is a heroic mechanic. So on normal, they will be stationary, very easy to handle. On heroic, they are rotating around the room, making all this mechanic, the Starkiller Swing, and the ring mechanic harder to handle. Now, Starkiller Swing. This will target the active tank and then 2 random players with this beam. This beam needs to hit a star, otherwise it deals a massive hit of group damage. You might be able to survive one going off if one person miss, but early on, probably not. And if multiple people miss, you are likely going to die as well. So this needs to hit a star, so everyone needs to find their own star and hit that star with the beam. It pierces the player, so you don't need to go behind the star. You just need to line up with it. Obviously, again, harder on heroic because the star is moving, but you hit it, it's good, it blows up, it's gone. You don't need to deal with it anymore. Very, very hype. This will happen a second time, so 2 more random players and the new active tank, who's taunt swapped, is going to get targeted by the next one, Starkiller Swing again. So watch the lines. They don't all happen from the boss. Only the tanks happens from the boss. The other 2 come from images. Boom, you want to hit them. And then it just repeats. So now we're going to get another Galactic Smash going out on 5 new players and the tank. So this is basically the entire phase here. You're just rotating between dealing with these stars, spawning them, getting pulled in, dodging the waves, destroying them again. It's just, there's a lot going on, lots of rooms for error, which is why you want this phase to be as short as humanly possible. Now, in terms of optimal positioning, again, we just did like outside. The outer ring might be too far for some people, but does reduce damage a bit more. There might be some cheese strat that gets developed here. I will post about it in the comments, maybe make a whole new video covering if there is some cheese strat that people end up making to make the star positioning in this fight, or phase rather, a little bit easier. But otherwise, just spread them out evenly towards the far ends, and again, shift in and out of being towards the center and towards one end to make dodging a bit easier. And then you can move back towards the center once you've actually dodged the rings and this area has become clear. But there we have it, guys. That is my full Manaforge.
So just to mention a couple things, if it will rewind, on YouTube. Oh, it is rewinding. He was just paused talking there for a long time. Exactly like how Kai Veza was. Whichever one of these dudes is targeting you is going to be red like this that you can see in the dead center of the screen right now. Since the boss is targeting him, it is red. Okay, so let there be no confusion about this. Again, missing these with this is obviously very bad because we will notice right here that they missed 2 of them because you get 6 spawn and you get 6 breaks, right? So, much like how I would always say, there's not supposed to be any fire here on whatever sticks last patch, except for when we were standing on puddles. There should not be any stars left when we're like wanting the next set of stars here, right? Again, because they are moving, and depending on how this ends up getting assigned and everything, that may be a little bit confusing at first, especially because this room is circular, just like how Kai Veza was. The only way to tell where in the room you're going is the markers, right? So we'll just have, this is kind of just a thing of we'll just have to see and figure out exactly how the positioning needs to work for this, for who's going where and who's breaking what,
I
right?
think I might have just figured something out for that, Terrace. I'm checking it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll keep going, and then there's a couple of things that I want to mention if you don't after, and I'll tie
Sure.
it into that.
Anyway, as these stars move, Tactics mentioned this also, but as these stars move, the rings are latched to the stars, right? So it's really hard to see this because there's so many of them, right? But and also I can't draw on my screen right now, but these do move with their star as they like expand outward from said star, right? If you will stop pausing it for 1 second here. See, all the circles like also move and everything, right? So again, this is the reason why I say this is because this is not the kind of like run to the edge and then assume that you're safe and don't move. You really want to give these like a good amount of leeway because they move, right? If it's moving away from you, that's one thing, but if it's moving towards you, then don't stop on the edge, please. Just, if you want to move and then go backwards once it explodes and passes you, that's fine. But you really want to you don't want to stop right on the edge. You want to give it at least a little bit of leeway to move around with. Was there anything else in the other? Oh, I want to show this because he didn't have a super good POV of this, and he skipped the second time when it was really hard. Let me see if Kalamazi has a good video of the second phase with the laser beams. Come on YouTube sometime today, please. This. So this is the tank frontal in the second phase, right? Where the boss does the laser beam and then all the portals around the room also do the laser beam. So there's one from the boss, there's one from the bottom right, there's one on the bottom left, there's one on the top left as well, right? These rotate also, right? So notice how they move just a little bit. So if we go in here a little bit farther, see how that one like sweeps across the raid and everything? It doesn't seem like they give any indication of how they're going to move before these laser beams come out. So maybe just be a little mindful of it, and I guess it depends on how much damage they do, but definitely don't run with it. Run through it if you absolutely have to. and just pop a defensive or something if you happen to get in a real shitty position. I've seen some videos of this where they all start converging on the middle and basically push everybody like real far in one way or another. This is not a good example of that, but it was automatic jack the other day. I can find it. Anyway, I'll see if I can pull that up, but yeah, those laser beams, just because they do come from like parts of your screen that you're probably not looking at, right? Like off to the sides and everything. It is just going to be important to like take a nice swing around and just check where they're coming from as they spawn, just so that you don't get instantly owned. Although I guess they do come from wherever these circles get dropped off at, so if you can remember where we put the circles, then you'll know where the laser beams are coming from. But anyway, also, I do hope that this is a little bit more visual. If anybody remembers the boss whose name we don't say apparently, and standing at the edge of that room and getting lit on fire, because this seems very similar and also very not clear where the border between death and being alive is around the edges of the room. Maybe it's just this like golden line, but
I believe
either way,
it's right around there.
there's not really any reason for anybody to be out there on this fight, at least unless it's different somehow on Mythic difficulty, but at least on Heroic, right? Like everybody's pretty much going to be more or less around the center of the room. So
Yep.
again, there's no reason for anybody to stand out here and get randomly killed by the dragons, but no.
Did you show the balls that actually get shot out by those dragons in P1?
I am looking for them right now.
You might have to go to Kalamazi's Mythic testing to see it.
I think Jack has it in his Heroic. Give me 1 second, because I wanted to show something else from his video. It's these things, right?
Yeah, but I think in Heroic they only shoot out one apiece, so that is actually probably accurate right there.
Yeah. They basically just sweep across the room, right?
It goes, if it works the same in Heroic as it does Mythic, it starts with the one that you are closest to. So pulling it to a like pulling the boss out of the middle is actually a good idea, so you know where stuff is going to start from. And then it was alternating left, right, left, right, left, right around the room.
Oh, that's interesting.
You're not muted, by the way.
She's not on her computer. I'll just mute her.
Yeah, I was going to.
All right. Anyway, what else was there? There was. Let's drop. I would hope somewhere in here he has the POV. This is the one I wanted to show of the laser beams, like really being very nasty. So, laser beams come out and they start moving. No, this is also not the one. Anyway.
I think the ones you're talking about were the bugged ones.
These are the bugged ones that were moving super fast?
There's
If
a
that's
set
bugged, then
pattern.
that'd be really nice,
No,
but
no, there's one Kalamazi's video I think is the bugged ones, but
Okay.
if I believe those go out in a set order with like what their rotation is.
In P2 they do?
Yeah, like the way that they move, and maybe this is just the Mythic version of them because the Mythic one, each one has 2 lines. There's a set pattern with how they move.
Okay. Huh.
Something I don't know if you mentioned that. If you noticed when the claws came out there, you got knocked towards where it was going. Don't get knocked into the dragons on the outside.
I think Jack shows that a little bit earlier. Right. Yeah, right here. Maybe. Yeah. He's probably very lucky to be alive right there. Anyway. Is there an indication of which way it knocks you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be the knocks you from the short side to the long side, right?
Yep.
You want me to open this raid plan?
Yeah, but not yet. There's something else to look at first. Go back to where tactics was paused at the end there. If you still have that one open. Where he was paused for like a long time talking. All right, right here. So, see the circles around the people. I know it's kind of hard to see the two on the left. But if you look at the two people that are underneath the raid frames, you can see that there are purple circles going around them, and the guy above them has blue circles. Those are important. That tells you, and those circles will move in the way that the stars are going to move around the room. This is extremely important in Mythic, and based on something that I potentially may have just figured out, could be important in Heroic. So I believe purple, I think, goes counterclockwise, and blue goes clockwise. I believe. They could be backwards though, but that part doesn't really matter once we figure out what's going where. But yeah, you want to potentially gather those on the same side. This might not be a oh the fuck. Then the suck in gets wonky. Maybe that doesn't work. Never mind.
Well, that's kind of the key though, where you would want to put them regardless of
Or
how
no,
it ends
yeah,
up being,
yeah, because
right?
there's 6 going out at a time. There's 3 of each, so it does
Yeah.
still work. Okay, so the thought that I just had, if you pull up that raid plan and go to slide 15, no, 16, no, 17. Yeah, that's all kinds of bullshit. So it looks like if we do something like this, and then if you go to, I believe, skip to 19. I think 18 is a fuck up. Yeah. So if we have them going like this, the center of the room potentially stays wide open for the most part. Go to 20. And these different colored rings would be the like spike lines pulsing from these orbs going out. So there is potential that if we do it like this correctly, the center of the room stays open, at least in some portion of the center of the room. So that way, when we have the Star Killer lines come out, they're always coming out of the middle, and so it's reliable to know where they're coming from and where they need to go to.
Doing it this way, you'd basically put all of the you just match the sides to one color or the other, right? And then they just
Yeah.
move into each other. And then
Yeah, basically
go through each
17 would
other
be
in
your
path.
starting point. Yeah, like
Yeah.
slide 17, this would be your starting points. And you would just put them opposite each other in the room. You still are getting sucked into the middle. And then there is potential that keeps the center clear, or as clear as you are going to get it. And I have a feeling, knowing what this does on Mythic, and I don't really want to get into that right now because I could probably spend 2 hours talking about it, that doing something, keeping the center of the room clear, might be key to actually killing this fight. So, yeah, that might be something that we test out, or like the initial plan going into Heroic for that.
I'll slow this down just really quick if you want to see the rotation of the different debuffs. So there's
So blue is clockwise, yeah, and purple is counter.
It also looks like they come out staggered.
Yeah.
Where all the people who get the blue gets debuffed first, and then all the people who get purple gets debuffed afterwards, right?
Yeah, so you would be able to see that. Yep, that looks like it should be good. And then to go with what Tara said earlier, ideally there are no stars left after the 3 sets of blowing up. And that should then allow us to have a clear room going into the second set of these stars coming out. Another thing that I know, the pushing of the boss to get into P3 here is, I believe it's time based or health percent based on the Nexus King. So in P2, there is potential that you stop hitting the Nexus King or stop trying to cleave as best you can and only hit the dragon, so that way you prolong the push, get the dragon lower health, so that way he does not absorb more health than he needs to.
I don't think tactics mentioned that as much, but you'll notice that there are 2 independent health bars, and neither of them in phase 2, neither of them have a like damage immune, right? So you can hit them both basically to go along with what Maniac's saying about potentially stopping on one and just hitting the other.
And the ads that you go to on the PTR, people did need to save cooldowns to clear through them. At least a sizable number of people on each side. So I don't know the timers on it. It might just line up based on the classes that we have. The damage that we do could be, higher than what they were getting on PTR, or it could be lower, and everybody has to save cooldowns. I don't know yet. We'll figure that out when we get there. But yeah, that is pretty much everything that I can think of on that fight.
Yep.
This fight,
Anyway.
you need to understand all of the mechanics on it. And you need to know them and understand them early, because on Mythic, basically everything is going to be a one-shot. It is just going to wipe the raid. So there can be nobody that does not understand what is going on and how you have to handle things on this fight. There is not a mechanic in P3 that is not a one-shot on Mythic. And you don't get to get rid of the stars.
Anyway, I don't have a video for Dimensius right now. Tactics has a like speculation video for him, but it's 30 minutes long, and I have watched it, but I am not going to subject everybody else to that right now. I will link it in the Dimensius channel if anybody wants to go watch it on your own time. I will say that we hopefully will get to see this tomorrow afternoon sometime, at least on normal or something, that we can then go and kind of figure out everything that's going on for him. But he just has a lot of dungeon journal, basically. That he's got a lot of dungeon journal. Anyway, like I said, if you guys want to go in your own time and watch tactics or somebody else like talk through speculation of how Dimensius is going to work, I encourage you to do that, but we're not going to sit here and do it right now. So anyway, yeah, so that will be that for videos for right now. Moving on to some, I guess, expectations for raid and housekeeping stuff. We're basically keeping the same kind of expectations for Mythic Plus that we had last season. So first week we'll be trying to get at least 4 10s done, if not a full vault. And then basically the next like 2 to 3 months after that will be getting all 10 or all 8 10s done every single week. At least either until you're fully geared or basically just down to the last couple pieces. We'll see about bringing back the coordinated Mythic Plus nights on Saturdays. We may not do that since we didn't really do it the last season either, but we may see about doing that. I would encourage you guys because again, I'll just as reminder, I've said the last 2 seasons as well, there's a lot of keys that need to be done and everybody needs them, right? So trying to help each other out and get a lot of guild groups going for that would be super cool. I know that everybody plays at different times and everything, but so as far as raid difficulty and that sort of stuff concerned, we're just gonna do the standard thing. We'll do normal first. And then we will do heroic as much as we can after that. I don't think that we're planning on doing any extra days for the first week right now, so we'll just be doing Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the rest of the week will just be Mythic Plus for the first week at least. I guess we haven't talked about it in a while because I've been out, but we were talking a couple weeks ago about potentially doing normal tier boss splits because there is a large amount of the guild that has alts from the last patch. If you guys will just take whatever best alt that you have and just make sure that it has the cape, just in case that we decide to do that next week. That will not be this week thing, but it may be next week thing depending on how like tier gear goes. Again, with the way that we handle tier gear, it'll just basically be the same thing as what we've done the last 2 patches. So, one from raid, one from raid, and then the other 3 from Catalyst, basically. Assuming that the charges are still working the same way, which I think they are, right? Wasn't that what we
As
had?
far as I'm aware, but I haven't looked into it all that much.
Yeah. Remember there aren't so the 2K or AOTC token changed last year. Again, just reminder, it is not a token anymore. It is just a catalyst charge. So you do actually have to get like pieces from like hero track pieces from Mythic Plus to be able to use those, right? So please do not catalyst champion gear. And then I guess on that same kind of note with gear, please also read Larius Raider Guide and try to follow it as best as you can. Obviously some people will not get all their farming done depending on whichever week it is, but try to follow it as closely as you can, especially around like crafting and when to spend your sparks and what to spend them on, that sort of thing. Just try to make sure that we're being as optimal as possible with that. Was there anything else that we were doing for gearing, or is that basically cover it?
No, that was it. Same thing with trinkets and weapons as last year. Sims is if something drops and you think you're gonna need it, start out with Sims and send them to one of us so we can see them. I'm not going to say that they are always going to go to the person that gives them the most damage. There is some discretion there, but Sims are taken quite heavily into factor. So anything like that, if we ask for it, please just send the sim to us.
I guess I will mention this really quick because there are the best in slot boots off of the optional boss, quote unquote optional boss for everybody. We're still debating exactly how we're gonna hand those out, but as far as I understand, the way that they work is that per 10 people in your raid, they guarantee drop, and they will always drop a different, like 3 different boots. So it won't ever drop like 3 leather boots. It'll always drop like 1 leather, 1 mail, 1 cloth, or 1 plate, 1 cloth, 1 mail, that kind of thing. So those it'll just take a little while to get those to everybody. Obviously, if we're clearing that boss on normal and heroic, that'll be 6 boots every single week. But again, you guys will just have to be patient with us a little bit on those because they are BIS for everybody, I assume. I would, since they empower the cloak, I would find it hard to believe they're not BIS for absolutely everybody. So, just bear with us on those because everybody wants them, and only 6 drop, and that's not much we can do about that. I guess we could run splits of that boss if it really comes down to it, but anyway, hopefully that won't be necessary. Okay. So, last couple things of housekeeping. We were doing really good about a lot of the stuff in Nerebar Palace, and some of it has started to take a bit of a backseat again. So just to reiterate a couple things here, it is really important that we do get started on time every night instead of sitting around waiting for people for 5, 10, whatever minutes. Obviously, I know that some people work right up till raid time, and you guys are all like really good about posting or letting us know if you're going to be late. So do please keep doing that. But to the best of your ability, do try to be online on time and everything. In that same kind of vein, if we can reduce the AFKing without saying anything a little bit, that would be super cool. Again, like, obviously emergencies happen, but we have a lot more AFK than there are emergencies, and it's okay if you need to like step away for a couple minutes. We just don't want to have it happen without anybody saying anything about it, right? Like, even just a very simple BRB or I gotta go piss or something in chat would be super helpful, just to know that, you know, you didn't just like randomly disappear and aren't coming back kind of thing, right? On that same kind of thing, because we have quite sizable roster right now, if you guys do want, like, if you are just like not feeling it some night, it is okay to just like tell us, you know, and we can work that out, right? Like, we try to be as accommodating as possible with this, as far as like, you know, if somebody's got something going on, right? All we ask is that you tell us. But again, even if it's the kind of thing of like, I just feel like shit tonight kind of thing, right? Not even like sick or whatever, but we can accommodate for that. We just need to know about it, right? Instead of having you and everybody else suffer around like being miserable or anything, right? It's way better if you're just not up, if you're just not feeling it, just take the night off and it'll be fine. Again, I guess just to keep harping on the attendance thing, we're still wanting everybody to be here pretty much all the time. Even if you are on the bench, Tuesday and Wednesday nights are WoW nights and WoW time. If you are on the bench, you should still be doing, like, spending that time either doing Mythic Plus or something else. I know that sitting around watching everybody else play and raid is not always super entertaining, but trying to be at least somewhat up to date on where we are in the event that we do need to swap people out kind of thing would be super helpful, instead of just, you know, having us be 100 pulls in a boss and then not having any clue what's going on with it. Again, we try to stream pretty much everything that we do now as far as raid is concerned, so even if you're not I guess actively watching in Discord, just like having it open if you're doing other things would be super cool. Again, you can find those in the VODs channel in the I guess Manaforge Omega category now. Somebody's always going to be streaming in there nowadays, but anyway. See what else. It is worth mentioning that right now we do have a 30-man roster, a full 30-man roster. So in Mythic, that is going to mean 10 people on the bench at any given time. this is kind of just how it's worked out right now. And again, we will just have to bear with that for a little while. But again, that does give us the luxury to do the things that I was saying earlier about, if you want to take the night off, you do have the option to do so, and we'll be fine. But at the same time, like, it is a big roster and it is a big bench. More just to acknowledge that than anything else. Last couple things for this. We've gone over this a whole bunch especially in the last tier, as we like continue to try and get better about identifying problems and everything. Again, so like when we are on a boss, right, and we are trying to figure out why something went wrong, right? So a classic example of this is on Sprocketmonger, right? Trying to figure out like, oh, who didn't move? Why did we get booped everywhere? Who put the drill in the melee? Da 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 da. Right? And lots of good examples on that boss. Again, when we're trying to figure these things out, it is not to like publicly shame whoever did it. It's just purely to just kill the boss, right? It's just a understanding thing. And we like I said, we're not trying to publicly shame anybody, but we do need to make sure that whoever like makes mistakes like this, it's more important to us that you know that you made the mistake, right? So again, like we've said this multiple times this tier, right? Where there are a couple of us who will like immediately own up to, oh, that was me, I fucked it up, right? Like not even before the poll is over, kind of thing, right? Obviously we don't want to be discussing everything in the middle of a poll, but like there's a level of like ownership of like, yeah, that was me, I fucked that up, right? Even you can go farther than that of like, oh, I could have fixed this other person's mistake, kind of thing, right? But it's just the understanding thing, right? That we just want to make sure that whoever does like make a mistake, whatever, right? It's okay to make mistakes. It's not okay to keep making mistakes because you don't know what is happening. Okay? It's just making sure that we like get that understanding down and that we're not trying to call anybody out for it, right? We just want to kill the boss as quickly and efficiently as possible. Especially when we are either doing new prog or I guess it's irrelevant whether we're doing new prog or doing like farm and wiping, right? It's just killing things as quickly and efficiently as possible. The last thing that I will harp on again is not talking in raid, where we all sit here in Discord all night, 2 nights a week, right? And obviously I'm going to be the person who says the majority of everything because that is quite literally my one job, right? But there are a lot of times where again people just opening your mic and just communicating and being ready to do that at all times, right, would be super helpful, and really like getting in the habit of that can fix a lot of problems that we have, right? Of just being good communicators. Okay, again, I've said this in the past, but the way to say it is just like, being active and being present in raid, and like being ready to try and help out, whether that's comms or whatever else. But at the end of the day, this is a group effort, right? Whether I do most of the talking and most of the comms or not, right? Everybody has the tool available to them, and it is unfortunate how little we actually take advantage of the fact that we're all sitting in Discord, aside from just listening to me yap all night. So anyway, Maniac Misty, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I got one thing. So, one thing that I would like to start doing as we progress through these tiers is give every set of basically every role something to focus on or try and improve for that tier. I know I've harped on this quite a bit with the healers over the last tier and a half. But so, for example, for the healers, the one thing that I have been harping on and will continue to have that be the focus for this tier is getting to an understanding on all these fights of when you need to heal and when you can do damage. We definitely, this last tier, improved the damage that our healers were doing. But even though healer damage may not be a lot, anything extra is just bonus free damage. The better we get at going back and forth between knowing when we can DPS and knowing when we need to heal, the better off we'll be. Things will become significantly easier. For classes that are mana hungry, you'll notice you're using less mana, and we will see a much added benefit. So healers, that is going to be something that I would like to see us focus on moving forward. To the point where potentially on normal and heroic, while we are doing those for these next couple of weeks, I may just tell a couple of you you're DPSing on bosses, because there is no reason when a healer has a DPS spec that we cannot play it in some form, especially with the helpers that were just added. I'm not expecting you to switch to your DPS spec and do 99s, but being capable enough to get into, blue parses would be extremely beneficial. And I know there's a lot of you that don't care to DPS, especially in a raid setting. We need to change that. So expect that for the next couple of weeks. Not on the later bosses. We grossly overheal everything in normal and heroic anyway. So, especially on like the first 5 bosses, if I ask you to DPS a boss, please do it. Do it to the best of your ability and help improve your own gameplay, because being somebody that can switch back and forth between a healer and a DPS, you see and notice different things. It will significantly improve your ability to play this game. I do both, I wouldn't know. For tanks, the big thing that I would like for this tier, and I know there's not going to be a terrible amount of it just based off of the fights, but movement with the boss without Terrace or I having to explicitly put down markers. Ideally, we get to a point where we know what the fight entails and we know the boss has to go from point A to point B. And you guys are able to just take the boss exactly when it needs to be gone in a way that if we need to run by a couple of ads so that way we can get cleave from one spot to another, we're doing that, and it's not something that Terrace or I need to be calling out or really worrying about. Defensively, keeping yourselves alive, there was no issues with that last tier. I don't foresee any issues with you guys. You guys are really good tanks, but that would be the key for you guys for this tier, would be the movement of bosses when we need to actually move them. And DPS, the big thing is mechanics. There's a lot of people that will get something and not know they have it, or sit in a spot for so long without moving when you have something that needs to be moved that everybody else panics. Especially early in tier and when we're not on farm bosses, if something needs to get moved out, we do it right away. I would rather see somebody get a 60 parse that moved all the mechanics out correctly than somebody that had an 80 and just stood there and fucked with everybody the entire night and caused wipes. That's the point that we are at as a guild. Doing good DPS and all the mechanics correctly will kill bosses faster than doing great DPS and not doing the mechanics at all. So that would be my challenge to you guys, is to work on that. And that's all I got, Terrace.
All right.
I usually have something to say, but you guys have covered every facet of everything. I have nothing to add. And that's odd for me.
That is what we aim for. All right. Anyway, I'll wrap up then. So, still, just to reiterate, we did really good last year. We do want to carry that on into this tier and on into the future. So, just play good, everybody. Do good work, and we will kill bosses, and we will have a good time doing it. So, yeah, GG for Liberation of Undermine, since I never really formally said it, and we will beat the shit out of this raid as well. So, that is all. You are free to go. Please read Larius's Raider Guide. That's all I got. Also, thank you all for showing up on the off night for this again, as usual. Do always appreciate it. So, thank you, thank you. I guess I better unmute Had.
You didn't
You don't
even
need
know
to
she
do
was
that.
muted.
Mythic Zeros? Anybody?
Did
No.
them already. Get fucked.
I'm all done.
How have you not done them yet?
Terrace hasn't. I'm trying to help out.
Oh. He's not even logged in.
He will be.
Also, at this point, doing delves is a better use of his time anyway. If
I
he's
already
gonna
did
do
all the
anything.
delves.
You don't really.
You can upgrade the Mythic Zero gear to 691 though, right? For free.
Yeah.
No.
Higher than that.
Higher. Oh no.
You
Yeah,
only
yeah.
want you only want to get it to 691 right now though.
Yeah, you don't want to spend your rune crests on it. It's the Garbo track. Oh, hey, look at all this money in my mailbox. I can buy more healing potions.
He should be progging Kaiveza is what he should be doing.
Dude, I don't need to prog Kaivez. I'm gonna one-shot Kaivez. That's gonna be fine.
If you one-shot Kaiveza, I'll give you 10 million gold.
Oh.
That's a lot of money, Mark.
Quick Terrace, he didn't specify.
He doesn't
the
have it.
difficulty level.
Yeah, he didn't specify.
If you one-shot it on the 2 question mark difficulty, I'll give you 10 million gold. I'll bankrupt myself just to give you this gold.
I'll help with Mythic Zeros because I still need some on my Paladin.
See?
And I'm tired of doing Kaiveza. It's ruining my life.
Same. I
already
love
forgot.
it.
I already forgot what the new healing potions are called.
Invigorating, I believe.
Thank you. Oh god damn it, they've gone up 40 gold again. Fuck. Oh well.
We didn't go over who's getting my Innervate Maniac.
Yeah, we'll see. It depends on what I end up playing.
Oh, you hear that, Ad? Not you, is what he said. I don't think Misty shares
Yeah,
Innervate.
Misty ain't gonna share that.
I'm just messing.
Do all specs of Druid have Innervate?
You.
You can get it.
You can get it.
I don't know if Bear goes down that side.
He doesn't.
Zappy has it, yeah.
Does he take it?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you
Who do
can
Who
kind
do
of
you-
push that way if you really want to, but
Who do you think was giving me Innervate on our Styx polls when I was screaming for it to get the last ramp off?
That's fair.
Bro, what buff do I bring to the raid as a shadow? None.
Fort and PI.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
And you give me the ability to play Evoker.
Mmm.
You
Nice.
joker.
Yo, if you play Evoker, can I rest your rescues?
Probably.
Huge. You rescue me and I life grip you.
No, you life grip me. What?
No, the fuck? You can jump.
Eh.
Or, I mean, you
But
can.
why would I do that when you could just life grip me?
And what do you give me back?
Let me get back to you on that one.
Okay. I mean, if I was a healer, I could get your PI, but that's not the
I
thing.
carried you in delves.
Oh, that's true. I mean, that's
did
that's
do
worth a week of PI,
Although,
honestly.
although Had was trolling us sometimes. So.
But sometimes, I think most of the times.
Literally got knocked off into oblivion. Just
Look.
I don't even know how.
Things happen.
And pull like 15 different bosses.
I was there. I pushed buttons.
Hmm.
Stop complaining.
Hmm. Also, what item level are you, Mock?
685.
Holy shit.
686.
He's huge.
Actually huge.
I mean, I finally am not getting fucking anchored by a 658 item level ring, so.
Dude, I'm barely Seed City 1.
I got so many item levels just by taking that thing off.
I'm Seed City 1. I have 2,000 Valor Stones and no crests.
No crests.
No crests.
Oh, you crafted all the things.
Huh?
You can craft blue items and upgrade them with crests.
All
Get
right.
some free items.
I forgot about that. I should have done that.
Still can.
Not really. I don't have crests.
I mean, theoretically you could.
I could if I had. But I don't.
There'll be more on Tuesday.
I guess. Also, I don't have tier.
You don't have tier.
Nope. The tier I had was champion track here.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say that tier is probably better than whatever you have on.
Trust me, it's not.
No
Surely
way.
he said that I did it.
I did. I wasn't changing gear until last night when I decided to sim all my gear to see what was good and what was bad and then upgrade it based on that.
Yes.
Raid time.
Oh, what? What did you say?
I said, when are you going to be on tomorrow?
Can you speak up?
No.
What time are you gonna be on tomorrow?
Oh my god, why are you guys
no idea.
yelling?
Shit.
They're making secrets. They're making secrets.
Is it a sneak peek to the next Edge pack?
I mean, probably. I mean, maybe a little bit more earlier, like about what I normally am. Which is gonna be like what 5:30 server.
She said okay.
Mythic Plus time, mister!
He's the
We
Loretz.
gotta do Deathless Tazzy V.
Yeah, I wouldn't start there.
Bro,
You
you,
go one pack at a time.
one pack at a
Slow.
time. Just
You
1 hour,
literally-
45 minutes of knowledge.
literally
No,
nobody
not one
can
pack.
dive.
Not one pack. One mob. One mob. 2 CC.
Well, so
You
like
see that
yeah,
shit.
true. I'm gonna take Cyclone.
Hell
Ho-
yeah, brother.
honestly,
That's
I-
all a thing.
Dude, are we going back to classic?
Dude,
We didn't even see Z shit the last time we
this
played
mob
Gold Classic.
cyclone, Polly.
No, I guess I mean my actual classic. Back in like 2006.
True.
dude, isn't there every pack in Tasovish like basically just one elite?
No.
I think the most density you had was like at the start, right? Like right before the first boss. That was the most density I remember from that dungeon. Afterwards, it was pretty spread out.
You used to pull like double and triple packs and shit into bosses.
So you got to gear all week and then go for the hard mode mythic piece on Monday.
Yep.
Anyone want to do a Hall 0?
I can do it if you give me a couple of minutes to finish this Awakened the Machine.
Sure.
Awakening the Machine.
Yep.
Do you get champion
I
track
don't
from
think
that?
I've done that in a long ass time.
Dude, Mock, I'm so mad because I'm fucking not gonna kill Kai'Veza unless I fucking man up tonight. And but if I just get like gear from 1 week of Mythic Plus, it'll die so easy.
I've given up. It's destroyed my mental so bad.
Dude, I just get to the end and I can't live. I just everything I do, I just can't live the damage because it takes me too long.
If you don't kill it tonight, does it go away?
No, literally nothing happens. Nothing's
Oh, it just
different.
turns to fucking bitch mode.
Oh,
you turn to
yeah.
fucking
The feat
clown.
of strength disappears forever.
Oh, you guys
Nobody
are just
nobody
fucking mental
respects you
ill.
anymore.
You guys are just mentally
yes.
ill. Just wait for it.
Yes.
Like if you just want,
yes.
you just want the fucking mount.
I just want to be able to link that I got it in week 1. That's all I want.
Yeah, same. Before I get, 10
Before you're a
item level
fucking
next
loser.
week and I deal it like 3 minutes faster.
You're skipping a whole extra set of mechanics.
Well, probably like 3 sets. Like honestly, like at 10 item levels, I'd probably skip like 3 minutes of that fight. From what I'm at now.
It's such a long fight. You just get you get
Yeah.
checked by one thing. It's over.
Oh,
GG.
I mean, I'm not even like when I have my good pulls, I don't even die to that. I die to just bleeding out because I run out of defensives because the damage amps at like 30% because it's like I've been fighting it for 10 minutes. And then she melees me to death because I can't live through it and I don't know what to do. I try to change all my defensives around.
Dude, she fucking 3-shots me just for melee, and it's fucking ridiculous.
Dude, I have like the craziest talent build, like for just like healing myself and doing stupid shit. And like I'm using the healing shield, the tank shield on my belt, and it does like a bazillion healing and it helps keep me alive.
Oh, that's smart.
Like, dude, I think it did like 40 million healing on one of my 10-minute pulls. It was it was a lot. It did more than my Eternal Flame did.
Do you need an audience? I think an audience would help you.
No.
It would not.
For more anxiety? No.
I would be your cheerleader. I'd be like,
You you absolutely would not.
all right. I got you.
That fight is so
Nobody
fucking
wants
crazy,
to be
man.
their cheerleader.
Dude, the mechanics aren't bad now that I've done them a million times. It's literally just the damage. Like, ugh.
It's the clones. Fucking
No-
look at
no,
them,
the
but I
clone-
still get 1 shot. It's like, what's happening here?
It's okay, Had. You can cheer me on when I
The-
one-shot it later.
The thing for me though is that sometimes I'm too stupid and get the game wrong in the intermission.
Mock, just don't be dumb.
I can't help myself.
Take box gold, Paris. Take box gold.
Cup game too
Take
hard.
box
I mean,
gold.
it ends tonight.
Paris, go for it. Go for it.
Once I log off, the deal's over.
Oh.
Dude, I bet Hunter is one of the easier classes to do it on.
It's not because
Tank is the easiest.
Yeah, tank is way easier.
Dude, I was trying to tank, but my brand does like dickhole damage, dude. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Like
What level
I've seen
is it?
brands on logs do like 800 a million DPS, and mine does like 400k DPS, and I don't know why.
What level is your guy?
He's 61.
That's why
Oh,
he's
well, that's
underleveled.
what perks are you using with them?
I did Hatterang and one of the other ones, but then Troll said he was using Sansa Koresh and the tinted glasses when he did his.
Oh.
But I've heard Hattering is like like really good too.
Dude,
I've been using
Hattering, when
that.
he's DPS spec, I don't know why. It does so much damage. I'll do like mobs and then he just like one shots them. I'm like, what happened? And I look at it
I
and he
mean,
did like
that's not
25
happening for
million
me on
damage.
Kai'Veza. I'm telling you that.
No, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I don't know why his damage is so bad on her. And then like my paladin tank damage is so bad. So like I fought her for like 10 minutes as a tank and she's at like 60% HP. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not doing this as a fucking tank.
Boy, I'm done now.
I'll be out for the night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Later.
Hey, Frosty.
Adiós, mamón. Que canse.